we're back once again with the ultimate One Piece tier lift. If I leave it at, yeah, lean over there, get the
Dear
camera
lift.
centered on me. Tier lift, yeah. Ultimate One Piece arc tier list, where I also recount each arc from memory. Let's once again go quickly over the things that I forgot to mention. Right, returning to Alabasta arc again, we mentioned that we met Luffy's brother Ace, which is very, very good. Luffy's brother Ace, everyone loves him. One thing I forgot to mention is at the end of that arc, or when Ace leaves the crew, he gives them a piece of paper and says, "Hold on to this; it will reunite us." And it is called a Vivre card. When that piece of paper is held in the palm, it flutters as if it's being picked up by the wind, and the place it flutters to is the location of the person that it belongs to. So Ace gave Luffy his Vivre card. Anytime they want to find where Ace is, he can just hold that piece of paper in his hand, and the direction it flutters in is the direction that person is. Any questions about that?
No, not really. It's a
Good.
compass with extra steps.
It is. It is. It leads straight to a person. And honestly, how does it work? Not entirely sure. So that's one of the few things in One Piece where I was like, yeah, that's just magic stuff, man. You just gotta deal with that one.
No, you see, the paper ate a compass fruit.
Just shut up. That happened during Alabasta, and of course, as we mentioned on our last episode, we saw that Ace and Blackbeard had a fight at Bonaro Island in the New World somewhere after the Enies Lobby arc, which Blackbeard appeared to come out victorious. Right. Any questions, Ryan? Anything you need cleared up before we go any further? Are you looking at this tier list and understanding what the fuck is going on?
Look, we've had a whole Kingdom Hearts discussion session since then. A lot of this has left my brain.
Yep.
So, you know.
Yep. He's rubber because he ate the fruit.
Yeah, I knew that.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, as you start saying stuff, it'll twig memories.
Sure. Okay, we left off in the post Enies Lobby arc, which is up in the This Means Something to Me man tier. This is the arc where we found out about Luffy's father, Monkey D. Dragon, his grandfather, Monkey D. Garp, and also the 4 Emperors of the Sea, which are Big Mom, Kaido, Shanks, and Whitebeard. Of course, we know that both Blackbeard and Ace are former Whitebeard. Well, Blackbeard's a former Whitebeard pirate. Ace belongs to the Blackbeard crew. So they are big-time pirates, and we're out for revenge on Blackbeard. Blackbeard did bad things in his crew. That's why he left. He is being hunted. All right? All right. We're going into the Thriller Bark arc. I like Thriller Bark. We begin by finding a barrel out at sea, and when we pick it up on our ship, it shoots a flare into the air. Before you know it, our ship is encoded in fog, lost at sea, don't know where we are, and then we come across what appears to be a ghost ship. There's no one there, no crew, and so, you know, the crew are eyeing up the boat like, should we board this? And suddenly, yeah, it's Thriller Bark time, and suddenly we see a skeleton wearing a top hat. It has a great big afro, and it appears to be drinking a cup of tea. All right.
Okay. So far, so normal.
Yeah, half the crew are like, you know what? I'm not going to deal with that. I'm not going to go onto that ship and have a look at that. And then the other half of the crew, like Luffy, etc., are like, oh yeah, I need to see what's going on with that. Like, explain that to me. So they board the ship. Some of them not so willingly. Luffy leads the way, no fear in his heart. He sees the skeleton. He's like, what's going on, bro? How you doing? And the skeleton's like, yeah, I'm all right. Yeah, I'm all right. The skeleton is a little bit eccentric. Its name is Brook, and it may have been floating out at sea on this ship for a very, very long time. Yeah, can't ignore the living skeleton. And we quickly discover that Brook is actually a former human, and they ate a devil fruit, Ryan. Can you guess what devil fruit they ate?
Something that makes him a skeleton, I'd assume.
That's correct. It's a little bit roundabout, though, because he actually ate the revive fruit. This is a fruit that can revive you from the dead once. Pretty good. Pretty good.
And yet it has revived twice in the name.
Yeah, well, all of the fruits have it twice. the problem is the ship was lost at sea, and when Brooke's soul attempted to find its way back to his body, it got lost at sea. And by the time it finally found the ship with Brooke on it, he had become a skeleton.
Oh, I see.
Of course, the power of the
That's-
fruit was still going to work. The power of the fruit still got to do its thing, so it revived the skeleton there and then. And he is now just an animate, walking, talking skeleton.
I mean, that's a bummer.
Yeah. Every time he meets a woman, he asks to see their panties.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's just a character trait that he has.
Yeah.
Even if they obviously would not be wearing underwear like a mermaid.
Let's be clear. When at one point when they meet the mermaid, they're like, "Do you poop? And how?" So there are
Honestly,
fascinating questions to be asked.
I'd want to know.
Yeah.
If I met one.
Yeah, and still not sure how, because if it was a fish, wouldn't it come out like just underneath the tail? But then, like,
I don't
human
know.
shape should come out the back, but like the back is like the spine on a
It's
fish.
again, it's like that episode of Futurama where Fry tries to have sex with the mermaid.
It's just not gonna eggs. Right. So, the Brook, the skeleton... Go on.
As Tia's just pointed out in the chat, the bonus to being a skeleton is that he kind of just like can't really die.
Yeah.
Because like, how are you going to kill a skeleton?
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're not gonna ask too many questions about that, because how would the fruit ever revive again? Is that just endless? I just don't know. Don't know. The mechanics of it are a mystery, but Brooke's back. He's a skeleton. And while hanging out with the Straw Hat crew, suddenly he realizes that nearby is a big ship known as Thriller Bark. And Brooke's like, "I've got something to do over there. See you guys later." Of course, before you know it, the crew are also on Thriller Bark. Thriller Bark is an island, but it is also a ship. It is like the largest ship in the One Piece world, where it appears that they've just taken an island and made it float, and then just put like a huge mast on it and like ship surroundings. It's truly huge, and how they navigate it is completely unclear. Honestly, kind of makes you think they're just sort of floating about on it, seeing what happens. But nevertheless,
Look, if you're an island, you can just let continental drifts take its course, right?
Yeah, and it be drifting.
All
It's initial.
all islands are technically boats.
It's drifting like Initial D. However, are the islands in One Piece boats? Well, we probably won't get there today. Maybe next time. Okay. We go to Thriller Bark, the island / ship, and there we discover it is basically Monster Mansion themed. There is a large mansion, and it is monster themed. First of all, the crew meet a 3-headed dog, which they're like, "Is that a fucking Cerberus? What the hell?" But they realize the dog has actually had its head stitched together. It is some sort of Frankenstein's creation of multiple body parts. And we quickly see that being a running theme with both like created creatures and also just zombies. Just zombies. In fact, let me attempt to, yeah, we're going to YouTube. Yeah. Fucking. There we go.
Feel the
God.
difference with that fresh flavour
This is the problem with not being logged in. Stupid ass like incognito
feeling
mode.
that lasts.
This is the worst
Gillette
thing
Labs,
ever.
our best ever razor, with up to
Are we gonna get copyright struck for the Gillette ad? Is that how YouTube works now? I'm actually not sure.
Possibly.
We just lost Ollie.
I had
The
noticed Ollie
Gillette
had
ad
frozen.
killed him. All right, watch this. All right.
Right, fair enough.
Yeah. And later on, Luffy meets an old man with a big wound. And the crew say, "That's obviously still a zombie." And the old man says, "No, I really am just an old man with a big wound."
Oh.
Yeah. Had to reverse the joke later on. Yeah. Very good. That's basically how they mean to continue, because Luffy doesn't feel fear. The zombies don't scare him, and not most of the crew, to be honest. There are a handful: Usopp, Nami, Chopper. At this point in the story, they're known as the weakest 3 on the crew. They're afraid of all the monsters. admittedly. I don't know if we'll ever get Ollie back at this rate. Um,
Who knows?
right, continuing. Chopper, Nami, and Usopp quickly come across a doctor on the island called Dr. Hogback. Chopper recognizes the name as being one of the greatest medical doctors in the world, renowned for incredible surgeries, saving people, etc., etc. Only he seems a bit weird. And he has a assistant called Sindri, who's like a maid, except she is like disobedient, disgruntled. I don't know how you'd prefer to describe it. She smashes plates a lot. She likes to smash plates. In case it isn't clear enough already, she is like a Frankenstein's creation herself. And her creation and the creation of many of the creatures on the island is aided by both Dr. Hogback and his like stitching things together, and also one of the 7 warlords of the sea, Gecko Moria, the captain of Thriller Bark. Gecko Moria, one of the warlords of the sea, I literally just said that. Quite intimidating bloke. The deal with Gecko is that he has the shadow fruit, and he is able to literally cut your shadow off. Like, he'll pick you up and pull the shadow away from you and then snip it off with scissors.
And what does that achieve?
Okay, the shadow is almost like part of the soul, and that shadow can be inserted into another body, say a Frankenstein's creation, to give it life.
Right. Okay.
The negative side effect of this is that if you have lost your shadow and sunlight touches you, you will just burn up and disappear.
Oh, okay. That is a pretty big downside.
It's a pretty considerable downside. Unfortunately, Mad Monster Mansion, our favorite Banjo-Kazooie stage, is filled with mad monsters, all being tricky and like popping out of the paintings and the floor and the woodwork. You know, this bloke has been cutting up shadows for years. Got thousands of them on the island, all inhabiting pictures or people or corpses, you know, everything. You know what I'm trying to say, right? You following? Good.
Mm-hmm.
He's even dug up the graves of some incredibly powerful warriors in the One Piece verse, 2 of which first appear in this arc and literally aren't given any more exposition until the most recent arc, which we won't even cover in this series, even if we catch up to it. So like there's a lot of foreshadowing here, but Moria's been about. He's been collecting the corpses of warriors so he can put in the strongest possible shadows and create his own army. He's doing all of this because his own crew was unfortunately obliterated by one of the 4 emperors, Kaido, many years ago. It's not too important, but it'll come up again later. So big army, and the crew are kind of stupid. Luffy and Zoro and Sanji, they're all pretty dumb actually. So they quite quickly fall for some shenanigans and tricks and have their shadows snipped off clean. Which is a problem, because if those shadows of those quite powerful guys get put into some powerful corpses, it could cause an issue, you know, for the crew. The rest of the crew manages to catch up with our monster trio, we're called. Zoro, Sanji, and Luffy. They're on the ship, all knocked out, and they get woken up by Usopp saying, "There is a beautiful female swordsman with meat here," because Sanji loves women, Luffy loves meat, and Zoro loves swordsmen. So, and that's all they love.
Okay.
So that would wake all 3 of them up at the same time. The point is, I'm trying to say they're stupid. Like,
no, I get it.
Mm-hmm.
I get, yep.
Yeah, they're not very smart guys, but that's not the point. They get woken up. The situation gets explained to them. Also, along the way, there is like a leopard man that kind of tries to sexually assault Nami. Side note, but he also wants to marry her, but he starts things off by he has an invisibility devil fruit, and he corners her in the shower, and he grabs her up like quite violently. Honestly, like. It is the most overt scene of sexual assault in the whole series. Everything else is like implied rather than shown. It's pretty crazy. Yeah. He gets the shit kicked out of him eventually. Don't worry. They all get their comeuppance. Although it doesn't It doesn't help Sanji in this arc. Anyway, the monster trio who had their shadows stolen have their shadows put into other corpses, and for a brief period of time, those corpses act like the people we know, the people that had the shadows stolen from, but over time they do transform into just mindless, monstrous, not very friendly guys. Like Sanji doesn't hit women, but the Sanji shadow corpse thing does eventually hit a woman. So it's like, they're not them anymore, you know? Luckily, Usopp and Brook, etc., they are quite smart. We meet up with Brook again, who is like been here before. He already knows that zombies, when they eat salt, they just die and they lose their shadow, and the shadow just returns to wherever it came from. That's right.
Sorry, just quickly, I cut out for a sec. Did you explain? Did you mention Brook's unique ability to overcome the water weakness?
Yeah. Okay. I didn't explain this, but Brook is so light and can move his legs at such a rapid pace, he can run over water. Yeah, he's a skeleton, and therefore he's incredibly light. It is unique, although he doesn't do it very often. Let's be real.
No, and there are times where he definitely should have.
Yep.
But ended up plunged into the ocean instead.
Yep. Yep. That does happen quite a bit.
He's like one of like two people. The other one, I think we've already seen it. Being what's his name at this point? Aokiji, right? The ice dude, who can use their or kind of use their devil powers to just walk over the water instead of just drowning.
Yeah. At one point in the series, Oda said that like there are like 4 or 5 devil fruits that grant the power of flight. Over time, that increased, but and there are also devil fruit applications that could essentially replace the need for flight. So
here's the question that's been going around, and I haven't asked it because I know it doesn't have a simple answer. Where do devil fruits come from? How do you get them?
Devil fruits are they're products of devils. All we know, all we really know, like, there are characters that know more than us that should have explained more than they did, but all we really know is that the god of the sea hates the devils.
Okay.
No. The god of the sea has cursed them because it hates the devils so much. Goblin Ford, thanks for rejoining us. It's like people's dreams. Yeah, but like, that's even, we'll save it for Egghead if we get to Egghead. But yeah, all right, yeah, devil fruits, they're there. Let's not worry too much about them. Okay, one of the reasons
it's worth noting there's only one of each devil fruit, right? So there can't be like two rubber fruits, right?
Yeah, that's
or whatever. And when the person who has it dies, the fruit just sort of appears elsewhere in the world. The method through which that happens is unclear, but it does just appear. So if a devil fruit user dies, like, somebody else can get their powers eventually.
There are instances later in the series of devil fruit hunters, which are literally just dudes that try and kill devil fruit eaters, and they have a sack full of fruit, hoping that one of the fruit will reincarnate into one of the ones they're carrying. Yeah.
I think that's good. I like that.
Yeah. So yeah, no. If there's any other, like, some powers in the series, if they're devil fruit related, it can only really be a one person thing and learn, except under very specific circumstances. You know.
Yeah.
Rightio. Now Brook, of course, freaked out when we got near Thriller Bark originally, and the reason for that is that Brook's shadow was stolen. That's one of the reasons we found Brook in the fog. Brook can't leave that fog because if sunlight touches him, he is going to burn up, and that will be the end of Brook. Skeletons can't die, but apparently that'll do it, you know? The Brook's shadow, Brook is like a decently talented swordsman, and Brook's shadow has been put into the corpse of an ancient samurai warrior called Ryuma from the land of Wano, which just for now, Wano is the Japan. It's the feudal Japan of the One Piece world, and it's just out there somewhere. But Ryuma is an ancient warrior. Did also appear in an early Ichiro Oda story before One Piece started. So it's like a callback to a very, very old story for Oda. And Ryuma has Brook's techniques, a very powerful sword, and this legendary body of this legendary warrior is just too much for Brook to overcome, even if his shadow is the one powering it. You know, the combination of Brook and his knowledge and his skills compared to the skill with the skills of the samurai, it's just too much for him to do. You know. So he's getting overwhelmed, gets destroyed, gets his skull cracked. It's okay if the skull gets cracked. They can heal it with milk because of calcium. Same with teeth. If any characters lose teeth, just drink down some milk. They'll get those right back.
Yeah, that's how that works.
It is how that works.
It is.
But when Brook loses against Ryuma, Zoro steps in because of course Zoro. We said he loves the swords, loves swordsmen, loves swordswomen. Anything with swords, he's in. Just say there's swords here. He's like, I'm in. And he sees the powerful samurai Ryuma. He's like, oh, I'm in. And as soon as Brook sees them begin to fight, Brook's like, that samurai was playing with me this whole time for years. Every duel we've had, he was playing with me because this is beyond anything I could imagine. And you know, I'm not gonna go too deep into the mechanics of One Piece fighting because it's, you know, it's clashes of blades and shit. For the most part, the fights are essential to carry One Piece's story along, but they're not the story, you know. The story is everything that happens around them and everything that sets them up. And basically, Zoro manages to defeat Ryuma with a big, fiery dragon strike down to the chest while atop the rooftops of the mansion. And Ryuma feeling the blade pierce his soul, his shadow leaking out, whatever you want to call it. He's like, yeah, we done here. Thank you very much. I feel bad to have given this old body a loss after so many years. And he drops Zoro his sword, the legendary blade Shusui. And Zoro accepts it gratefully and says, let's pretend this duel never happened. Because it's like he doesn't want to claim victory over a former champion. He wants the actual champion, you know? It's very beautiful, very, very good. And of course, Brook gets his shadow back, which he's incredibly grateful for. Now, the problem is that Luffy, being quite a strong geezer, was recognized as being quite a strong geezer by my man Moria. My man Moria said, I will put this shadow into my strongest zombie. Dr. Hogback and Moria have been working for years to get this zombie ready. And this zombie is an ancient giant. Now, we've met Dory and Broggy in Little Garden. They were giants. They're like 80 feet tall or some shit, you know? The ancient giants, however, are like 2 to 3 times that size. Yeah, and they have like massive devil horns, big fangs and teeth. They are the brutes of the ancient world, and very few exist today, if any. Right? They found him frozen on some ice continent, but dug up the corpse, put it back together, and was just waiting for a strong ass shadow to put in there. And he puts Luffy's shadow in there. And like with the Zoro and Sanji zombies, for a little while it just started acting like they would. You know, it just started acting like Luffy. It was running around putting stuff on his head and wanting to be the king of the pirates. But then after a little while settled down and started being like an obedient slave to Moria's commands. As a bonus, he still thinks about stretching his arms, even though he's a big zombie thing now. He still wants to stretch in his punches. So he does that, and it's like, as he does it, his bones contort. Yeah. And like the arm just snaps and flings off, but he's like a zombie, so I don't feel pain, so he's good with it.
Yeah. I guess.
And apparently the shadow helps retain the integrity of the corpse, even if it's sort of fallen apart, you know? Which, honestly, that would explain how zombies in monster movies are, like, completely missing musculature and stuff, and they'll still be able to lift their arm. Because, like,
yeah,
how would you, if you have no muscle, you couldn't... Anyway. Yeah, that's what's going on. Big zombie Luffy, but luckily we have some pals on the island. Moria, the Straw Hats are not the first pirates he's, like, captured and taken the shadows from, and we find Lola and her crew of pirates. Lola is a pirate that wants to find a husband. She has proposed several hundred times to people and been rejected several hundred times. Strangely enough, she's
basically just like proposes to like every guy that she meets.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay,
Which
I see.
is it's interesting because she specifies that she ran away from home because her overbearing mother wanted to pair her off with the prince of the giants, and she didn't want to. So it's like, Jesus Christ, what was wrong with
Oh.
that guy? You know,
Maybe she's just racist. Like,
it's possible.
ultimately,
To be fair, if he's like 80 feet tall or something, and she's like 6 foot, that's not great.
yeah.
There's dynamics here which is not going to work out so well. The
I mean,
happy
having said that,
relationship.
there are half giants in the series, so
There are.
like, you know,
Yeah.
it has to be doable.
It's doable. It's love finds a way, as we discover later. Yeah. Okay. Ancient giant, really, really big. Lola and the crew are here, luckily, and they find Luffy running around in no shadow, and they're like, "Buddy, we will help you out. Don't worry." And he's like, "How are you? Yeah, good man made it work. Don't you worry, buddy. How are we gonna help you to get rid of this Moria and the zombies? Because we want our shadows back too. You know, everyone wants their shadows back here. Luffy, we're gonna give you more shadows. That's the solution." They've been hiding out on Philibart Island / ship for years in the forests, trying to keep away from the sunlight after they had their shadows taken. But they kept capturing the shadows of other zombies and just keeping them, not letting them go. Because they were like, we might need this shit. They did discover at some point that you can force another shadow into someone who already has a shadow. You can force multiple in, and it will increase their strength by each shadow. But you will not lose. You'll lose your mind. Your body might break apart at a certain point. But if you're if you're robust, you can do it. You can take them. Normal man can only handle like 3 shadows, but Luffy, they shove him with like 300 shadows or some shit. And when he comes out, he's like massive and buff and has a big sword. Just let's pull it up. I think it's called Nightmare Luffy. Fuck off Google, I swear to God.
What the fuck is...
Every time. Nightmare Luffy. Open image in new tab. There he is. And he's like, you can see him holding Nami and Usopp in his hands here, which illustrates how large he is.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is just him being pumped full of shadows. They gave him a big ass sword. Yep. Yep. You following all this?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So Nightmare Luffy just starts punching the absolute hell out of the ancient giant oars with Luffy's shadow in. Doesn't quite work out. Luffy can't keep the shadows in forever. He eventually lets them all go, but we get a great team up from the entire Straw Hat Pirate crew. We have Frankie, who you'll remember from Enies Lobby. He's taken giant concrete pillars and just put a chain between them so he can use them as nunchucks. Yeah, so he's like got Roman pillars swinging them about, smashing them into the ankles of the giant. Zoro and Sanji are trying to crush its bones to make it topple. We've got Robin, who can cause bloom arms. She's like trying to like put it in holds and clutches and stuff. The whole crew is going at it, trying to do what they can to take down giant shadow Luffy, which in its belly is being controlled by Moria in a little cockpit.
Okay, right.
Yeah.
It's a mech suit as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we did say they've been like working on upgrading this corpse for like decades, waiting for the right shadow. They did a lot. They did a lot of work. Because technically, if you just stuff a corpse with it, like we said, the shadow retains the integrity of the corpse. It doesn't need organs.
I mean, at some point, it just stops being a corpse, though, and just starts being
a flesh mech.
Cyborg flesh. It's a little ship of Theseus now, I think about it.
I mean, I was going to say Attack on Titan, but that works too. All right. Okay. Yeah, this was a great moment. I love them all fighting the giant Luffy Oars thing. Eventually, they do take it down. Moria jumps out of the corpse, and he absorbs all the rest of the shadows he has left. He absorbs 1,000 shadows and becomes 1,000 Shadows Asgard, a giant, disgusting creature. Let's pull it up because what is it? Fucking Moria Shadows Asgard. Just a horrific, beastly thing, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. He just absorbs them all. He was already like a very large onion-looking man, frankly.
Yeah.
But he turns into this. Yeah. He's very fat. Right. Very, very cool. They eventually just he loses his shadows after just getting slapped the hell out of him. Just slapped around. And that's basically the end of Gecko Moria. Finally, we think it's over. Luffy's exhausted because he's gone through shadow mode. He's gone like gear third, gear second. He's done it all. The whole crew are exhausted. It's over. Finally, it's over. Jesus Christ, that was a lot of stress. Another one of the 7 warlords of the sea just shows up. He's just there. He's like, right.
Oh.
The fight has just ended, and he's like, hello, I'm present. Now, this is Bartholomew Kuma, who we saw very briefly at the end of the Jaya and Skypiea arcs. He originally came to Velabark to warn Gekko Moria about Luffy and how they were a strong crew because they previously took down Crocodile, another one of the 7 warlords. Moria was like, I ain't gonna get beat by no rookies. Don't you fucking worry about that, son. Moria's too arrogant. What can we say, you know? So the one thing is, Nami saw Kuma earlier on, and Kuma got rid of another one of the people we saw on Thriller who I didn't mention at all yet. Perona, a nice ghost girl who Usopp beat, of all people. He didn't beat her too bad. He basically just knocked her unconscious through fear. When
she can like summon ghosts.
She can summon ghosts.
Essentially.
Yeah.
Okay.
If the ghosts touch you, you become incredibly depressed and wish you were dead. Yeah.
But it didn't
Right,
work on
well-
Usopp because his life is already like so sad.
Yeah,
that
he's
it
already
just
too negative
never
about
affected
himself.
him.
Yeah. Yeah, so he's fine.
Okay.
He basically turned his negativity back against her, used this fear to knock her out unconscious by threatening her with a 2-ton hammer. It was actually inflatable, but she didn't even know that. Right? Yeah. When Perona tries to escape the island, she comes across Kuma and she sicks her ghosts on him, and he instantly just taps her with his hand, and she disappears forever. She's gone. She's off the island. What happened to her? Is she dead? Is she alive? Don't know. She's gone. Please show her horrible laugh.
Corona's laugh is the best. It's so good.
We can't.
So not laugh. That is a different thing.
Okay, yeah. Close though. Risa Deep Perona One Piece. Is this gonna?
Yeah, I guess that's it. That's probably it.
I can't live without the YouTube Premium, man. How do people do this?
Smart.
Right. Do you understand?
Yep.
Yep.
She sounds like that in every dub as well. Like that's just what she sounds like.
Yes. We said the laughs are very distinct in One Piece earlier. We were having a conversation about this pre-stream this morning, and I was like, the laughs denote the character, you know? It's very important. Right. Kuma shows up. He apparently has the power to just touch people and they vanish. Everyone's facing him, the Straw Hat crew, the Lola pirates that we met earlier, Brook, and he unleashes a shockwave that just blasts everyone. Almost everyone is just unconscious because this guy is big, he's brutal. Bartholomew Kuma, the tyrant they call him, he's intimidating and he has paw pads like a bear on his hand. Alright? Anything that touches the paw pad just bounces right off, and he apparently can create shockwaves with them. We later discovered that essentially the paw pads can repel anything, but also because they can repel into each other, they can like condense air, for example, and then when he lets that go, it becomes a shockwave.
Oh, that's fun.
Yeah. So he's there. He's knocked almost everyone out, and he's picking up Luffy, who is completely out. And then out of nowhere, Zoro comes in. Big slash down Kuma's shoulder. He didn't see it coming. Nobody saw it coming. And then when the smoke clears, we see that bro is literally blowing off steam out of his shoulder. There's mechanical pieces in there. And Zoro's like, what the hell are you? Are you like Frankie? He's like, I am not the same kind of cyborg as Frankie, son. You can't compare me to that. And he just unleashes a laser beam that melts steel from his mouth. Yeah. He's too big, he's too hench, he's too strong. And Zoro's like, I am not beating this guy because I cut him down when he didn't see it coming. It didn't phase him really, you know? And Zoro says, okay. If you feel the need to take the head of one of the Straw Hats here, you can have mine. I was going to be the world's greatest swordsman. That should be more than enough to replace my captain, you know? And then Sanji comes up and says, no, 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 no. My bounty was going to be the biggest in the world. If anyone is worth the most here, it's actually me. All of them line up to try and give themselves up for Luffy. And Zoro and Sanji, like, in the series, they fight a lot. They bicker. They're like brothers that hate each other, sort of. And in this moment, Zoro, like, just slams his swords into Sanji's side and knocks him out. Because if anyone's taking the sacrifice, it's Zoro. He won't let the rest of the crew suffer for his sake, you know?
I mean, sure, I guess.
Zoro declares to Kuma that Luffy is the man who will be king of the pirates. And Kuma says, I'd feel bad if I said no now, but in return, you gotta take his place properly. So Kuma picks up Luffy and repels from his body all of his pain, suffering, and fatigue. Everything he's gone through for his different gear transformations, the Shadow Luffy, the giant fight, all of that is been repelled into a giant paw-shaped bubble. And Kuma says, if you want to take his place, you must take all of this suffering. But if you even try, it's pretty much guaranteed to kill you. Right? And Zoro takes it. He just takes it. The next morning, Sanji wakes up in a panic, searches for the man, and finds him standing in a corner. And when he goes over to him, he realizes he's covered in blood covered on the floor, screaming at him, what the hell happened here? What's going on? And Zoro says, nothing happened. And it's just the most beautiful, incredible, emphatic moment. Incredible, Ryan. It is at this point we discover that Brook was actually one of the members of the Rumbar Pirates, and they were the ones that left Laboon the Whale. I'm calling back hard now. Laboon the Whale, the one that got transformed into like a battleship by Dr. Crocus at Reverse Mountain. It was his pirate crew that Laboon followed into the Grand Line. And he said he's been wanting to return to his friend Laboon for all those years where he was a skeleton on the ship. We also discover Brook's larger backstory, which is that the captain of his ship fell ill, and it was a contagious disease, and one by one, everyone on his ship just started dying while lost in the fog. You know? And they were a musical crew. They were all musicians, and there's like a beautiful and incredibly emotional scene where they are playing music together for the final time, and just one by one the instruments cut out as they die. And then just Brooks playing a solo on the piano at the end.
That's not the fun image that appeared in my mind when you said they were a musical crew.
They were a musical crew, and it's really emotional. He's like he does a duet, and then he says solo as it's just him left, and just.
I mean, yeah, that sounds pretty epic, to be fair.
Yeah, it's emotional as hell. But at that point, he says, "Yeah, they play Binks' Saki." Thank you very much, Goblin, and that becomes an important song in the series for reasons we're not going to get into. Becomes the iconic pirate theme though. And Brooke says, right, I want to join you, Straw Hat Luffy. I've seen what your crew can do. And what he didn't mention at the time is that he also saw what Zoro did when he took on Luffy's pain. Zoro didn't want to tell the rest of the crew the sacrifices he made, but Brooke saw it, and he's like, these guys are fucking real, you know? So Brooke's now ride or die. He's like, let's fucking go. I'm with you guys. This is one of the greatest crews ever. Thriller Bark is like at the top of the I'll do it again tier.
Yeah.
I really like Thriller Bark. But like it's not my favorite arc. It's not my favorite arc. I do the moments are incredible. The moments are incredible. The Zoro nothing happened moment, Kuma showing up. I really think there's a lot of really good laughs in Thriller Bark. But for the most part of the story, it feels it feels inessential at first. It feels like a side story. Maybe that's because Water 7 Enies Lobby had the stakes feel so high, and then the stakes felt quite low here. It goes on a bit longer than it should. Yeah, it does go on a little bit longer than it should. But I do. There are still a lot of things to like about Thriller Bark. I know the one person recently, like a few months ago, said that they were getting through the series, and I was like, "Where are you now?" And they're like, "I've taken a long break at Thriller Bark," and I'm like, "Just get through it, because you don't know what's about to happen. You don't know what's about to come down the road. Like, you're right there. You're staring down the barrel." Ollie, do you have any opinions on you?
No, I think it's a really good arc. Obviously it introduces Brooke, which great character. It introduces Perona, who I think is a very fun and underappreciated character.
I didn't mention Perona much because it doesn't feel like she has too much to do in this arc, really, but I like her a lot. Every
She
time
doesn't
she
have too much to
reappears,
do
I
in
like to see
any
it.
arc in which she appears,
No.
but it's always fun when she does. Yeah, I mean, I think it's it's a pretty good arc.
Yeah.
I think yeah. I don't know. I like Brooke. He's a musician. That's fun. He also has like vaguely musical powers, kind of.
Yeah. They
Because
come
like
more into the
music
fore
is an
later.
expression. Yeah, music is like an expression of the soul, so he can
Mhm.
use his soul to do music stuff.
Yeah. And also it becomes
so-
more relevant later, but his time with his soul being trapped in the underworld means he is like connected to the icy bitter cold of hell or whatever.
Yeah. Also, like right at the very end, like Kuma, after like putting the pain into Zoro, is like, "Damn, Dragon raised a good kid with a good crew."
Yeah.
Which
How does he know?
is a thing that is said.
How does
How
he
does
know?
he know?
How does he know? We'll never know. Unless we continue on to the next arc. Shabondi Archipelago. Now, it's spelled Sat-Bat-O-D. Let's ignore that. Shabondi Archipelago is how I'm going to refer to this one. It's an archipelago because it is actually an island made up of the roots of mangrove trees. There are giant mangrove trees that sprout out of the ocean, and the roots are so thick and luscious that an entire island is basically been formed. And it's an archipelago because it's not really an island, it's just loads of trees. Most important and probably interesting thing about Shabondi Archipelago is that it has like soap-like bubbles come up from the roots of the mango trees as the oils get released. There's a lot of bubbles going on this arc.
Sounds like just quite a nice place to take a shower.
Yeah. Before we get there, though, we run into Duval, who is more important than you think. Now, if you'd been reading the manga at this point, you would already see in the cover stories that back in the Arlong Park arc, we had Hachi, who was an octopus fishman who wielded multiple swords, because he's an octopus, and Zoro beat him. Of course he did. And in the cover stories, we see that he didn't get arrested like many of the other fishmen did. He escaped into the ocean and started heading back to Fishman Island because he's like, fuck that shit. And along the way, he comes across Papagu and Kami, a mermaid and a living starfish. And they all become good friends. Hachi turns over a new leaf and opens a takoyaki stand, which is fried octopus balls. He is an octopus. Let's not think too much about it. Yeah. Unfortunately, Hachi gets captured by a bunch of guys called the Flying Fish Riders, which are like bandits of the sea. They're not quite pirates. They literally ride giant flying fish, but they have like Harley Davidson handles. Okay. First we get Kami. We get fish up Kami onto the boat, like by fishing. She comes up onto the boat. She's a mermaid. We ask how she poops. Can we see the panties, etc., etc., etc. Kami's like, my friend has been captured. We really like to if you help them. They're like, yeah, sure. They go over there and it's Hachi, and they're like, don't know if we're gonna help him. You know, he was like on Arlong's crew and everything. But they're like, yeah, I guess we'll help. I guess, you know, not gonna be besties with him or nothing. Duval comes out and he says that he has a big grudge against Sanji of the Straw Hat Pirates. Why? Well, Iron Mask Duval takes off his iron mask, and he looks exactly like Sanji's bounty poster, the drawn one with the ugly face. He looks exactly like that one. And ever since the bounty poster got released, people have been hounding him and ruined his life, forced him into a life of crime. He wasn't even a criminal before. They forced him into it because people won't start hounding him. You know, he can't get a job, he can't chill out anywhere. It's over for him. And as a result, he hates Sanji. And Sanji is vexed because he has to even remember that this bounty poster is relevant and attached to him. He feels insulted. So he uses his feet, of course, to kick Duval in the head and the face many, many times until Duval gets a full plastic surgery bone transformation. He actually ends up being very handsome, although a side effect of the foot surgery, literally done by a foot, the side effect is that he's unable to wink. Every time he tries to wink, he goes.
Okay, I mean I'd take that trade.
Yeah. Other than that, he looks way better. Like giant glow up for Duval. So, like Sanji did him a great favor, honestly. The crew get Hachi, they get Kami, and on they go to Shabondi Archipelago. Before we go to Shabondi Archipelago, Hachi and Kami give the crew a heads up. This place is racist. This place is super racist. If they see yeah, handsome Squidward, that's Duval, yeah. If anyone on this island sees a fishman or a mermaid, they're gonna throw him into slavery, okay?
Right.
Right. That's the sort of place Shabondi Archipelago is. So we want to be careful going in. However, it also has a theme park, so we can't not go in.
Oh wow. Okay, yeah.
We can't not. It has a theme park. Now, because the place is super racist, mermaids and fishmen so rarely get to go to the theme park. So even Kami's kind of like, yeah, I'd like to go actually. That'd be nice. If you just wear a long skirt to hide the tail, it's fine. It's fine, you know? Is it fine? It's not fine. Kami gets kidnapped. Kami gets kidnapped. Kami gets kidnapped. But before I go deep into the kidnapping, I should just preface this by saying the reason we're on Shabondi Archipelago is because... Oh god, I need the planet. Hold on. Right. I'm gonna move it across on the stream as well. There we go. Right, we are like, you know, we started from here, Crocus and Laboon down here, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. We are now like over here on the other side of the planet. Like we've gone all the way across the Grand Line, and we're like just before the red line on the other side of the world.
Right.
So the question is, how do you get either over the red line to the other sea? Right? You can't, because it's 10 kilometers high, and there's Mary Jawat up there, and that's the top of the world where the Marines and the world government live, and the celestial dragons. We can't go up there, so we're going to go under, because underneath the red line is Fishman Island, and they get a lot of pirates passing through. As long as you don't cause any trouble, we'll go under the sea, past Fishman Island, and then emerge on the other side of the red line. How to do this? We can coat the ship with a special strong coating, the very same coating that the mangroves give off in Shabondi Archipelago, and that coating will allow the ship to withstand the pressures of being like 1,000 feet under the sea. Right?
Okay. Yep.
That's what we're trying to accomplish in Shabondi Archipelago, and the man to help us is Rayleigh. Rayleigh will help us. He is a very experienced pirate out here on the oceans. And he has coated many ships. So we've popped into Shaki's bar, which is apparently where we can find Rayleigh. Unfortunately, he's out right now. But he has not been seen in a couple of months. And when Shaki has asked where her husband may be, she's like, he's out there chasing women or getting drunk or gambling. It's like, all right, okay, that's fine, I guess. We'll go find him. But first, we'll go to the theme park. And then when we're at the theme park, Kami gets kidnapped. It's typical, isn't it? You know?
Typical is one way to describe it.
Yeah. So where is Kami? Okay, let's figure this out. Where would a mermaid kidnapped on Shabondi Archipelago get taken? Almost certainly the human auction house, where many different kinds of humans are being sold.
Right, yeah.
Yeah. Big strong guy to do the labor, an old man to sit and look cute in the corner of your house. You can get all sorts of slaves, former pirates, women that were just got sold into debt or whatever. You know, it's anything you want at the human auction house. When they get there, they watch as people get purchased by these upper crust elites. It's sickening to the stomach. You try and take one fish to the theme park. Honestly, you can't take them anywhere. It's terrible. These are upper crust elites, awful people, because they're buying slaves. You know, it's not subtext. It's not subtext, Ryan.
It's pretty clear.
Yeah, and this is where it's relevant that the celestial dragons are here. The celestial dragons are essentially the rulers of the world. They live atop the Red Lion on Marijoa. We mentioned this before. And they are the descendants of the 20 kings. The world government was founded by 20 countries, but run by 20 kings or queens, monarchs, whatever. And that happened after the Void Century, mentioned that previously. And all of those kings and queens took their family to live on Marijoa, except for one or two. Well, don't know why. But they became the Celestial Dragons. They wear bubbles on their heads so they don't have to breathe the same air as other people.
All right.
Just to give you an idea of where they are coming from, When we first meet them, they are literally riding like a large man, like a horse, making him crawl on his hands and knees to shepherd them from place to place. Not because it's efficient or convenient, but because cruelty is the point.
Okay, so dragon is just a title in this instance.
Their title is the Celestial Dragons. Their title, yes. Yeah.
I get you.
Luffy's father dragon, that's a name unrelated from what we know. from what we understand. Okay? To be fair, in Japanese, dragon is called dragon, and the celestial dragons are called the Tenryubito. But we gotta.
Okay.
Yeah.
That is less confusing.
Yeah. Is it? All right. The celestial dragons are, they are the upper crust of the upper crust. They look ugly as hell. Are they inbred? Almost certainly. And they have annoying vocal quirks that just make you want to hate them.
Well, yeah, there was 20, right? But now there's only 5, so there's got to be some inbreeding there.
Oh no, there's many more, but there's only 3 of them on this island. The Gorosei are celestial dragons, but they're different. They're different. The 5 elders, they're different. They're like the top of the celestials. So these celestials are also in the human auction house, and when they see a mermaid on sale, actually, before we'll rewind a little bit. If you don't bow in the street as the celestial dragons pass, you will just get shot. Okay.
Okay.
If it walks past you and you're not bowing on your knees, and they'll take pleasure in it, And in one case, they shot one guy, and then his wife comes over to see if he's okay, and they're like, yeah, that one's good. That's the 7th wife. And they just take her.
Right.
All right. This is just giving you an idea of the celestial dragons, When a mermaid comes up in the human auction house, they straight up put down 500,000 berries. The Straw Hats were planning to bid for their friend back, essentially, to get out without causing chaos. But 500 million berries, sorry, and it's that we can't afford that. We don't have that money. Is Kami gonna go? But Luffy crashes into the building with the help of the flying fish riders from before. Just literally crashes in, sees Kami chained up in a cage, and he's like, I am gonna break her the hell out. I have missed over bits, but we're moving super fast.
We have to.
We have to move super fast. But of course, there is someone else we were looking for on Shabandi, and he also happens to be tied up with the other slaves in the human auction house, chained up, sat next to a giant. We have a small, average old man with white hair and a grizzled beard. And when asked what kind of bloke he even is, he's just like, I'm just an old ship coater. That happens to love pretty young women, and that's when we get the title drop in the manga, and on the screen the titles come up. He never says what he is, but it says this is Dark King Rayleigh, the Pirate King's right hand man, vice captain of the Roger Pirates. So this should be theoretically the second most powerful man in the history of the One Piece.
Mm-hmm.
He's the big boss. Because we weren't even sure there were any surviving members of the Roger Pirates, the Pirate King's crew. But here's the vice captain. Of course, when Luffy and the crew see Kami tied up and the Celestial Dragons are bidded for her, Luffy starts causing chaos, running down the aisles, and Hachi tries to stop him. That's when everyone sees that a big octopus fishman has entered the room. He's in the human auction house. This is a bad place for him to be. So the one of the Celestials stands up and just guns him down. And he's like, I caught a fishman. It is mine, and it is free. You know?
I can't fault the man's logic.
In case you just couldn't understand like the inhumanity we're supposed to feel for these Celestial dragons right now. While bleeding out, Hachi says, I'm sorry, I just wanted to make it up to Nami. We did so many terrible things to her and her village. I just wanted to make it up to her after everything. Very emotional, very sad. Not sure if the words quite make up for it, honestly, even if Nami says he was one of the least bad ones. But yeah, Luffy's pissed off at this and he punches the hell out of the Celestial Dragon. Chaos ensues. The whole human auction house is fighting. Zoro and everyone get involved. And then suddenly the fucking another Celestial aims a gun straight at poor Kami. He's like, if this mermaid hadn't caused all this fuss, you know, I'll put her out of her misery now. And suddenly she goes unconscious. Not Kami, but the Celestial.
Oh.
That's when the giant rips open the wall behind the stage of the human auction house, and out just walks little man Silvers Rayleigh. Yeah, Gold Roger Silvers Rayleigh. That's what we're doing right now, okay?
Yeah, no, I got it.
Scopper is the name of the next guy, all right? Right. Silvers Rayleigh walks out after knocking the Celestial unconscious with his haki, and then he just knocks out everyone else in the room that's being a prick. Without doing anything, just sort of glances. And it's very specific, pinpoint, you know? All the straw hats are still stood up. There's a few pirates in the back that are watching on like, what the fuck is this? Is that the Dark King? And then Rayleigh says, I've been wanting to meet you, Monkey D. Luffy. Then I hit you with the to be continued, and it's crazy.
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
That fits.
Yeah. Rayleigh takes an explosive collar off of Kami. They put the slaves in explosive collars. Worth noting that no one has ever stood up to dragons, basically ever, so it's extremely shocking that Luffy does. Yeah, because if you mess with a Celestial Dragon, the Navy headquarters isn't too far away, and they will send over some of their strongest just to fuck you up, you know? So no one ever does it. Luffy's done it now. So that means the Navy's on their way. Silver's Rayleigh's there, and they're like, right, let's fucking get out of here, get back to my bar, and we'll talk about what to do next. We'll get your ship coated up. It's going down now. The Navy's on the way, and I completely forgot to mention that this arc has some of the most important character introductions ever. Oda, when he was writing this arc, he was like, I'm worried that it won't be exciting enough. So I will introduce, let's say, like 10 new characters. Just like 10. We're going to call them the worst generation. We know Shibundi Archipelago is just before the red line. The story is, every person that enters the Grand Line takes a different route according to their log post. It's like, you could like go to the island on the left, or you could go on the one on the right, or you could like do zigzag. There's multiple zigzag routes to take, you know, to bounce between the islands. It's like Lilac Wars or Star Fox 64 for the Americans. You can bounce between them all, and you can get to a different route, but they all lead to Shibundi Archipelago. And at the same time, all of them turned up. The rookie pirates that have entered the Grand Line for the first time. And Luffy is not the one with the highest bounty of the group. You know? We've got Eustace Captain Kidd. We've got his right-hand man Killer. We've got Trafalgar Law. We've got Jewelry Bonnie. We've got Capone Gang Beiji. We've got Basil Hawkins, who looks like Slipknot's Joey Jordison. We've got Arouge, the Mad Monk. We've got Red X Drake, Diaz Drake. Okay, people keep calling him X Drake. It's because he has a big X, but it's like it's supposed to be the Roman numeral for 10 because Diaz is 10. His name's Diaz Drake. Whatever. 10 Drake, right? He's a former Marine. Yeah, Kid has the higher bounty, and I feel like I'm missing someone else. Oh,
Did you do Scratchman Apu?
Scratchman Apu. That's the one I was missing. That was it. I think I got everyone now. They all get introduced, and when they find out that Luffy has punched the hell out of a Celestial Dragon, they're like, does he not know that puts us all in danger? If a Navy Admiral shows up, he ain't gonna stop at one pirate. He's going to do them all.
Yep.
And quite quickly, a Navy Admiral shows up. Navy Admiral Kizaru is made of light. That's pretty difficult to deal with, actually. Forget about being made of smoke. Light. He can shoot bullets of light that can explode and detonate like fucking nukes. But also he can basically move almost at I want to say the speed of light, but not really, it's he moves very quickly, as if he's zipping about. He can refract light to make clones of himself. He's light. It's really fucking crazy. And his introduction includes him like, first he rides a cannonball onto the island, which detonates when it lands. And then some pirates say, if I can take him out, I'll be rich and famous. And so he shoots a bullet at his head, and of course it passes straight through. Does a second, passes straight through. You know? You turn around down an alley and he's appeared before you. He's a very strong guy, very intimidating, but he has a very long drawl, like, ooh. He likes to stretch out his syllables. He only stops stretching out his syllables when he's stressed.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So it's like he speaks slow, even though he does everything else very quickly. Kizaru is very, very cool. But the other pirates in the auction house, along with Luffy and the crew, were Kid and Law. Kid, Law, and Luffy have a little temporary team up to get rid of the marines that have surrounded the building, and then they all go their separate ways. With Luffy going with Rayleigh back to the bar. And at the bar, we get all the exposition. We find out about Goldie Roger and what happened with him. Why would Gold Roger, king of the pirates, one of the most powerful rich men in the world, get executed? How did the rest of the crew not get executed if they were captured? He didn't get captured. He gave himself up. Gold Roger had an incurable disease, a terminal illness, so he gave himself up when the time was right. And by being on the execution platform, announcing to the world that the One Piece was real and his treasure was there and existed, by ushering in the great age of piracy, he had turned his dwindling flame of a life into a roaring, engulfing blaze that encompasses the entire globe, you know? This was the goal of Gold Roger. And when Rayleigh talks about it, he has tears in his eyes. He clearly loved the man like a brother. And he says, my captain lived one hell of a life. It's very, very beautiful. Robin asks how they knew. Do they know the history, the Void Century? Do they know the truth? How did Roger write the words next to the poneglyph on Sky Island? And Rayleigh's just like, we were just pirates. We didn't even know what we were looking at. We didn't have the knowledge of the scholars of O'Hara. And if you go through the journey we did, you might come to a different conclusion. Which is, Oda's way of saying, you can't have too much lore at once. You can't have it all. Come on, guys. You need some secrets for the story. But yeah, the best part of this all is when Usopp says, right then, the One Piece. And he's about to say, is it real? Where is it? And Luffy stops him and he's like, I don't want to know if it's real. I don't want to know if it exists. I don't want to know where it is. I don't want to know nothing. Because that would be a boring adventure, and I refuse to have that. I would rather die. So that's where we're on at that. They could have asked the man where to go for the One Piece, and he said no. One thing we do discover, though, is that, again, going back to Reverse Mountain with Laboon, Crocus said he was a ship's doctor for several years. He was hired onto the Roger Pirates to take care of Gold Roger's terminal illness. He was present for the final voyage to try and stave off the pain for as long as he could. That becomes relevant again. And it was also Dr. Crocus. He was searching for Brooks' crew at the same time, trying to see if they were still out there. We discovered that. Is there more? Any more in the flashback bit, Ollie, with Rayleigh?
I don't think so.
I don't think so. But yeah.
I think,
with the Crocus thing, the one thing we do know is that Crocus, when the crew left him, said, the last island you're looking for is Raftel. And you are not supposed to know the name of that island until you've got to the end of the islands that the compasses point you towards. The final island the compasses point you towards is called Lodestar, which is the name of like the North Star in the sky. It's like, the guiding light. And when you get to Lodestar, something explains that you need to get to Raftel. But because Crocus trusted the crew, he said, yeah, Raftel's out there. You'll get there one day. You know, that's what you got to aim for. So it's almost like they got given a head start by Crocus there, but they didn't know it at the time. Right. Rayleigh says, it's going to take me about 3 days to coat this ship. Until then, you guys got to lay low because there's an admiral out there. And there is an admiral out there. But that's not all that's out there. Because as Law and Kid are walking away after fighting their way out of the auction house, about ready to leave the island, who drops down? Bartholomew Kuma. Kuma, from the end of fucking Thriller Bark, the big prick himself, just appears out of nowhere, and he's about to fight down Kid and Law. Holy fuck. We flash back to the town. We got Mad Monk Rouge. We got X Drake. We got Basil Hawkins. We got Scratch Menapoo. They're holding off Kizaru, and then who turns up? Bartholomew Kuma. What the fuck?
Also, I just want to point out that Drake can turn into like a little T-Rex. It's amazing.
It's not even little. It's massive. Yeah, he can turn into a T-Rex. The Ancient Zone type fruits are very, very cool. So they have like literal transformations of extinct creatures. We've touched on this very, very lightly, but they're also mythical type fruits, and they are mythical creatures. Those are pretty valuable for obvious reasons, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then like some kind of technically fall into both categories of ancient and mythical. But there's one in particular that is kind of weird about that, but yeah.
Yeah, we don't worry about it too much. There was at least one point where Oda said this is a Logia fruit, and then later said no, it's a special Paramecia type fruit, and we still don't understand what the fuck he means by that. But anyway,
Yeah.
anyway, Bartholomew Kuma has just shown up in front of most of the rookies, in addition to Kizaru. What in the shitting fuck? The Straw Hats leave Rayleigh and Shaki's bar. They're having a look around. They're like, so what do we do now? Luffy's like, let's go to the theme park. They're all like, you fucking idiot, we're not doing that. Do you know what happened last time? Jesus Christ. Can't take him anywhere. But before they can even think of a next line to say, who shows up? Bartholomew Kuma. Now, Bartholomew Kuma just showed up quite rapidly in 3 different places. And we are being shown his fights consecutively alongside each other. He is in 3 different places.
Mm-hmm.
He is not speaking at all. He's saying nothing. He is just going to war. And then we notice the paw pads on his hand have been replaced with a cannon which just shoots the laser beam that we saw before. What the fuck's up with that? But the Straw Hat crew, they ain't giving up. They say, all right, we know this guy's strong. Let's take him down. Zorro's looking at him weird because he's like, this isn't the same guy I saw before. Something's off about him. But they fight together. They all go in. And by going all out from the start as a crew, they take down Bartholomew Kuma. And then Kid and Law manage to take down Bartholomew Kuma also.
Okay.
And then a man called Sentamaru shows up, and he said, do you know how expensive that shit is? And then he drops down from the sky with Bartholomew Kuma. Right, we knew... thank you for joining, Paviful? I don't know. Thank you. We already know that when we hit Kuma in Thriller Bark, he was steaming and there was mechanical objects in his shoulder, inside of him. We know he's some sort of cyborg. And now we are discovering that there are many, many, many more of him. They may not have the Devil Fruit Paw Pad ability, the Niku Niku fruit, but they're imposing. Yeah. They are imposing because they're all like, what, 12 feet, 13 feet tall? They're all massive and strong, and now they all have lasers coming out of their hands. Which is all, it's pretty gnarly stuff. So the crew is knackered from beating one, and another one has shown up along with Sentomaru. Just as we think we're going to be able to deal with that, Kizaru the Admiral shows up as well. The man made of light. I don't know if I have gotten this across to you yet, but things are going wrong.
They do seem to be, yes.
Other than the moment we were chilling with Shaki and Rayleigh, everything's been going to shit. Just, no good. now that Kizaru's here, we have a big problem because no one can touch him. No one is able to touch him. Like, you shoot at him, you swing a sword, it goes through. Zoro is still injured from Thriller Bark and everything he went through by taking on Luffy's pain. Things are going down. And then we see Zoro get hit from somewhere off screen. We look back, it's Kizaru. Kizaru's taking down Zoro. He's standing on him with his foot like... He's like this. He's like pointing his foot down like, I'm getting it up there. Pointing it down. And he's going to let off the light beam down. He's going to curb stomp the motherfucker. And everyone's trying to stop him, but they can't do anything. You three have similar beard indeed. Maybe. It's kind of orangey, yeah. Only one bald, it's okay. Right. Can't touch the motherfucker. Zoro's about to fucking die, Ryan.
Yeah.
And then out of nowhere, Rayleigh shows up. Rayleigh swoops in, lifts his foot up, and just knocks Kizaru's foot out the way. He touches him, Ryan. How'd he touch him? How'd he touch him? How'd he touch him? And Rayleigh draws a sword. Kizaru draws a sword of light with his hands. And they start going to war. Sentomaru looks over. He's like, shit, that must be the real Dark King Rayleigh. I've never seen anyone actually stop that man before. You know? Like, Kizaru's getting stopped in his tracks. What the hell? That must be the real dude. Jesus Christ. The crew are still shell-shocked from everything that's happened. And they're like, we gotta go. We can't beat Kizaru. Rayleigh's saving us right now. Any more of these fucking robot guys show up, we're fucked. So for the first time in the series, Luffy tells the crew to run. Just get away, get to safety, because we can't win. For the first time, it's we can't win, you know? Every other fight was, we got this. Now it's, we can't do it. It's over.
Mm-hmm.
I gotta breathe. It's getting emotional for me.
What, you started doing gymnastics?
Right.
My God, getting so many feet lookets today. That's
Just take my socks off next time. Right.
don't.
Right. Okay. So it's all going wrong. Luffy says run. The crew starts running. They split off and peel off in different directions. Zoro's heavily damaged, so someone needs to carry him. People, you know, it's not going right. And just as we think we're getting away, as people start peeling off, suddenly shows up Bartholomew Kuma. Not the robot one. Not the robot one. This is the one with the paw pads. And he speaks, and he's like, you're still alive, Roronoa Zolo. And Zoro's like, thanks to your mercy. And then he takes off his glove and he says, if you were to take a trip, where would you like to go? And before he can reply, he just slaps him. And Zoro's gone. Zoro's fucking gone. Just like Perona in Thriller Bark. And Nami says it. She's like, I saw him do that to a girl in Thriller Bark. And she never came back. She never came back. Zoro's fucking gone, mate. The second crew member. It's emotional, Ryan. So how are the crew going to get out of this? Do you have a guess?
So right, was that a question?
Yeah.
Well. So far in this arc, it seems every time they're in an unwinnable situation, someone just shows up and immediately dispatches of all the problems.
Yeah,
so
that's right.
Is that going to happen again?
No.
Oh.
One by one, Kuma slaps every member of the Straw Hat crew.
Uh-huh.
One by one, pop, 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 they disappear. Gone. Vanished into the night. And each time he does it, we hear a bubble pop above them. Because I said there's bubbles in this app. So lots of bubbles.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
One by one, they're getting slapped away, and Luffy's screaming, like, where is my crew? As he approaches Nami, Kuma that is, she turns to Luffy and she says, help me, in the same voice she did when Luffy took care of Arlong and Arlong Park. But this time, Luffy's powerless. everyone he knows and he loved and he said he would take care of just gets slapped away. And in the end, he's screaming on the floor, like clutching at the dirt, pounding at the ground, completely powerless after he watched his entire crew get taken away. And Kuma says, Straw Hat Luffy, we will never meet again. And he slaps him. And he's gone. And the narrator, Goblin, thank you for mentioning it, the narrator comes in and says, on that day, on Djibouti Archipelago, I think it's Grove 13, the Straw Hat crew, helmed by Monkey D. Luffy, suffered a total collapse. To be continued.
I guess that's it. That's the end of the show.
Right? They fucking
all
died.
of these other arcs. It was all a trick for me.
Jesus Christ.
So I wouldn't know that it was all over.
Oh
here.
man. This means something to me, man.
It's a real good arc. It's very cramped and messy, but it's like messy in the way that Oda does messy, where it's like everything is intentional.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very, very good.
I'm tempted to put it in masterpiece. I don't know, man. It's so good.
Oh, it's not quite masterpiece. It's up there,
Oh,
but
I love this arc. It feels so incredibly impactful because like we are basically halfway through the One Piece series now, roughly, you know, not quite, but you know, roughly. And up to this point, the crew have like Luffy especially. Luffy in the East Blue arc before entering the Grand Line walks over every enemy he gets put in front of. Like you give him a clean punch, it's over. Then the Grand Line, suddenly he has to actually think and try a bit harder. But now that we're at the end of the Grand Line trying to enter the new world, it feels impossible for our crew to do anything, and it feels so heavy and impactful in a brand new way. Yeah, I love this shit. It really does leave an impact on you, I feel. Are you okay with my placement there, Ollie?
yeah, I mean, I understand why you want to put it into masterpiece, but like, given the few that are coming up, I think we need to leave a bit of space in masterpiece.
Yeah.
Mm.
Djibouti Archipelago. You know, I think the reveals like Silver's Rayleigh showing up, I think that's fantastic. I actually like seeing Hachi again. I like Kami and everyone. But yeah, man, the ending with Kizaru and the robot Kumas and the real Kumas are just yeah, the presentation of the rookies pulling up. The rookies are very cool. Like I said, Oda really thought this is going to be a boring arc and was like, throw the rookies in. Crazy. And most of the rookies get some sort of nice storyline in the future. Some of them not so great. I'm gonna say Apu and like Basil Hawkins deserved better. I think X Drake. I mean, we might see more from him. We don't know. Anyway,
I mean, I can't honestly say I expected much from someone named Basil Hawkins.
yeah. I mean, he's
That's
cool.
I think I don't know, like Oda introduced the Long Arm tribe, which is what Scratchman is a part of.
Yep.
And then it kind of feels like he regretted that like really quickly. Because like they show up like twice more and then they're never really mentioned again.
The long arms aren't particularly important, but I'll tell you what though. If you wanna talk about One Piece tribes, oh no. We gotta talk
I'm
about
not sure I do.
we gotta talk about the Long Neck tribe, of which there are like a handful of examples in the entire series. That's way too zoomed in. Here we go. The Long Necks are rarely mentioned. We get a couple in Whole Cake Island, which I think is where this screenshot is from. Because
yeah, it is.
yeah, Big Mom likes shagging about is the story of that one. And also there is when we get to the Human Auction House, there is a scene where like they are pulling up like a list of races, and the races have prices attached to them. And for a good long while, like there are some races on the list that we hadn't ever seen in the series. It took Oda a while to get around to them, and then there are some races on there which like I believe to be extinct, so they weren't on the list, but they are in the series. You know, is there a Long Leg tribe? Yes, there is.
There sure is.
Yeah. The Long Leg tribe and the Long Arm tribe are actually currently at war. Yeah, and then we fast forward to the Grand Fleet. There's actually a Grand Fleet ship which is helmed by Idio and the other guy, Blue Gilly. Blue Gilly and Idio. Blue Gilly being a long leg, Idio being a long arm, and they partner up. And I think in a cover story, they stopped like a long leg, long arm war. Fun times. Right. Amazon Lily. Right. The crew have obviously been slapped about in Shabondi, literally. And now we need to figure out where we are. So during Kuma running around slapping people, they say it's said that when you get hit by Kuma's pad, he can send you across the sky, across the world. He can send you flying through the air for 3 days and 3 nights. And you'll just land somewhere, wherever he wishes you to land, you know? So he has deliberately sent the whole crew away to various places, and the place he sends Luffy is a place called Amazon Lily. Ryan, can you guess why it's called Amazon Lily?
Is it like a rainforest?
Close enough.
Okay.
Yeah. There's Amazonians, and it's an island just for women.
Oh, right. That kind of Amazon. I get it.
Yep, that's the one. Yeah, there we go. If you know mythology and then old stories, you know One Piece essentially. Yeah, we'll get to where the rest of the crew is, but for now, Luffy is on Amazon Lily and he is alone. He is still quite stressed out about where the rest of his crew is, but you know, he knows he's all right, and therefore they probably are too, because they all went through the same shit. You know, what does he do on Amazon Lily? He eats some mushrooms. Eats too many mushrooms, and mushrooms start growing out of like every orifice on his body.
Yeah.
Oh.
Some Amazonians find him, and they say, "What has happened to this woman? She is covered in mushrooms. We should take her back to the village and cure her." They go back to the village. They burn off the mushrooms, and they take her to the bath to wash the rest of her body. And they say, "Oh, hey, hold on. We missed a mushroom.
Oh no.
There's one between the legs.
Oh,
It's
no.
just stuck there. Hold on, it stretches. It stretches, it does. But let's just tug it harder. Oh, if that don't work, get the fire out." Ryan, you following?
Look, I mean, I guess it's nice to have some sexual harassment in the other direction.
You see, it's all about equality around here. Like, there's far more male nipple in this series than female. The men have just as big a tits as the women do.
True.
Okay. Luffy is on island of women, and the older woman of the group, an old lady called Gloriosa, she looks at Luffy and she's like, "That is a man, for fuck's sake." At first she's like, "Oh my gosh, a man," but that is a man. It's a man. And so Luffy gets thrown in prison. Luffy gets thrown. He gets thrown in prison. You're not allowed to have men on the island. That's one of the only rules. It's basically one of the only rules. But while Luffy's in prison, all the girls ask him, "Hey, what's that sack in between your legs? What are you keeping in there? What are you keeping in there?" And he's like, "That's my Kintama," which, you know, Kintama does translate to golden balls. You know, and then like, you got Kintama. Show me those. Show me that. I want to see. Could you take them out and show me, please? And he's like, "I can't take them out. I'll fucking die."
Of that incredible scene.
Oh yeah. Can I pull that up on my other? I'm actually not sure I can.
Hold on, I'll send you the link to it as well.
Yeah. Send me a link to the image. Okay, copy link address. Right. Ryan, any questions?
Sometimes I think anime was a mistake.
Yeah, well, you were wrong. Okay. So Luffy displays his golden balls to the ladies of Amazon Lily, the family treasure. To be clear, in the translation they say family jewels, which is what the English speakers would probably call their balls, but Kintama golden ball is the actual translation. Anyway, which is why it's shining gold, to be clear, you know, like,
Yep.
Sorry, talking to Goblin Ford. Right. Luffy asks to have his clothes back, which makes sense at this point, honestly. They give him the clothes, but they have sewn frills and lace and flowers onto it. He's outraged. He's so pissed off. So what have you done to my outfit? And he shouts at them, I am a man, not a woman. And at this point, they're like, oh shit, we always knew the men were evil. And they all pull arrows on him. Luffy's like, well, I need to get out of here, honestly. This is not for me. He breaks out of the prison. And because he needs some help, he grabs a woman called Margaret. She was one of the women that found him and bathed him. And she's like, you're coming with me. I need to ask you some questions because I don't know where I am. Margaret explains the island, the society, etc., etc. And he's like, right, well, if your pirate empress lady who leads you has a ship, I'm going to have to ask her because I don't have one. I can't get off of here. He does try and build a raft, but we've discussed that Luffy's an idiot. He can't do that. He drowns, you know? I mean, the story started with him in a barrel. You remember all this. Right.
Mm-hmm.
So we see the return to the island of the pirate empress, the leader of the pirate gang that leads Amazon Lily. Her name is Boa Hancock. She is the captain of the Kuja pirates, empress of Amazon Lily, and she is the most beautiful woman in the world. Not an opinion I have. It's like her title. Well, her title's pirate empress, but like she's the most beautiful woman in the world, Ryan. Okay, accept that. Accept it, Ryan. Okay. She pulls up on her great ship, which is being pulled by two sea snakes, great sea snakes. And she has a giant snake called... I've forgotten the snake's name. Fuck. That's a shame. But yeah, she pulls up, she comes out of her ship, and her first introduction is her like kicking a kitten. And she says, people will forgive me because I am beautiful. And god damn it, everyone does. They're like, yeah, you're right, darling. I will. You know? At that point, a marine ship pulls up, asking for her attention, and it is Vice Admiral Momonga. Momonga we have seen very briefly. I think he was heading one of the Buster Call ships in Enies lobby, but it's not important. Momonga comes up and he says, Boa Hancock, you are one of the 7 warlords of the sea. Dun dun dun. You have been ordered to show up to the upcoming war at Marineford. If you don't show up, you will get your title stricken from you. It's pretty important if you want to stay at peace that you come and do that. Why is Momonga asking the warlords to come to Marineford? They are planning to execute one of the Whitebeard pirates, Portgas D. Ace. Luffy doesn't know any of this. He's not around to be aware of it, and you don't read the newspaper, that much is for sure. But shit is going down. We previously spoke about how Blackbeard wanted to become one of the warlords, and he was going to trade Luffy's head for that. Of course, he fought with Ace, so he decided to trade Ace's head for that. Now Ace is up for execution. The Whitebeard pirates won't like it, and you know Luffy's not going to like it. But how are we even going to get off this fucking island? Alright. Boa hears the news, and she's like, I ain't going nowhere, darling. And she uses her Mero ability, which is the Love fruit, and it turns people to stone. There is a Medusa theme happening here. It's the snakes. It's the snakes.
That's not where I thought that was going based on the name, but okay.
Okay, to be clear, for the Mero fruit ability, basically whatever your image evokes the feeling of in your opponent, you can use that to turn them to stone. So Boa Hancock, a tall, beautiful woman, large breasts, and therefore most men will turn to stone because they lust after her. But for clarity for the future, if this ability pops up again, were she, for example, a child, they would be infatuated with her cuteness and not lusting after her. Okay? And for example, if someone unattractive were to eat the fruit, it would be how disgusting they are that would turn them to stone.
Right.
Whatever image you evoke, whatever feeling you evoke, that is what causes them to turn to stone. Okay?
Gotcha.
Momonga sees the attack coming. He takes a knife and he stabs it into his hand quickly, so the pain overrides his lust. And he manages to not turn to stone. But the rest of the Marines on his ship, they're all done. It's a warship. He can't sail that thing by himself. He's like, Boa, I'm going to wait here for a few days. If you don't show up and unstone my men, you are fucked as a warlord. You know? But he's given her the opportunity to think about it. Boa shows up on the island. One thing leads to another, and Luffy ends up in her bath. Just gonna skip forward a little bit. He wanted to ask to borrow a boat. But he fell in through the roof. He's in her bath. And he sees, well, her breasts, but more importantly, her back. And when he sees her back, he's like, that looks familiar. What is that? And she's like, you fucking saw it, didn't you? Her sisters, the Gorgon sisters, barge in. They're like, Nisama, what is wrong? She's like, he's seen it. There is a man in my bath, and he's seen it. And they are like, we are gonna kill this motherfucker. But you can't just kill him. So you gotta have like a little gladiator tournament style thing. There's gotta be an arena. It's gotta be an arena in a gladiator style tournament. Right. Before the fight starts and they try to execute Luffy, the 3 women that found him in the forest and burnt the mushrooms off him, they first say, he didn't invade the village. It's our fault he came to the village. Could you just toss him out instead of killing him? You know? Be fair about this. You know? In return, Boa turns all 3 of them to stone. Because her word is law. They are the criminals now because they brought him in. Doesn't mean he can go away living though, you know? And so the fight begins between Luffy and the 2 Gorgon sisters, not Boa herself. She sits on a throne and watches, while many of the other warriors cheer things on. He fights back and forth, he starts getting serious, but they have some strange abilities. For one, they can just hold their palm out, and when he punches it, it'll just bounce straight off. That's strange. And then another one, they can close their eyes, basically not look at him, and avoid all of his attacks. Just like Mantra on Sky Island. Well, that's a bit interesting. That's a bit strange. During the fight, they get to a point where they threaten to smash the statues of the three girls that vouch for Luffy. And Luffy, you know, he will defend anyone that is nice to him, and he angrily demands they stop. Demands they cut it out. And when he does this, he actually lets loose his conqueror's spirit, his conqueror's haki. Isn't explained too much yet, but for now, Luffy's words essentially sent a shockwave across all of the warriors in the arena, Boa herself, and they all feel it deep in their core. It scares the Gorgon sisters so much they put the statue down, they let Luffy go. They're afraid of him a little bit. And then the warriors in the audience start going unconscious one by one. Luffy, whatever ability he's hacked into, is the same one that Rayleigh used on Shabondi, the same one Shanks used on Whitebeard's ship. Luffy has the ability to use Conqueror's Spirit, and they say it's something that only 1 in a million people are able to even use, let alone master. You know? So Luffy's special somehow. He's using the Conqueror's Spirit. Right.
I say that, but there are so many people.
There are...
This is now the 3rd we've heard of.
Yeah, well, let's not worry too much about it. The Conqueror Spirit, it does become a thing where it's like, if you are one of the biggest characters in One Piece, you kind of have to have it. You have to.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I'm assuming they all filter to the top, you know? Yeah, Goblin, we have called it Color of the Supreme King, we call it Conqueror's Spirit. I think, you know, I'm not going to call it Hao Shoku no Haki, but, you know. There's plenty of localizations for that one. Right. When Boa sees this, she orders... the fight continues at first, but then one of the Gorgon sisters Luffy's fighting against has her cloak on her back burn off, and on her back is the same thing that was on Boa's back. The sisters claim this to be the Gorgon Eyes. As youngsters, they were cursed with the Gorgon Eyes, and if you see the Gorgon Eyes placed on their backs, you will turn to stone. Of course, Luffy already saw the Gorgon Eyes on Boa's back, but he didn't turn to stone, so what's going on here? Right. The fight concludes because her cape gets burnt off, revealing the Gorgon Eyes, and Luffy jumps on her back to cover it up, almost as a peace offering, almost, I suppose. And they realize the man isn't so bad after all, and Boa asks him to come up to her room, where she undresses and shows him her back once more, and also boobs, but again, not important. The back ends up having the symbol of a claw on it. It's we're gonna have to bring it up. Right. Yeah. You wanna open that new tab. There we go. It has this. She has the symbol of a claw on her back. Right there it is. Okay. A big circle with three points at the top and one at the bottom. It is the hoof of a dragon, and it is the mark of the celestial dragons. This is how they mark their slaves. So the sisters weren't taken away by a magical gorgon and cursed. They were captured from their ship while sailing one day, and they were enslaved by the celestial dragons. Once again, Oda doesn't want to make this an incredibly dark and depressing story. He won't tell you what happened to them, but they don't like men.
Right,
After what they went through. Okay? That's all you need to know. They don't like them. You can fill in the blanks, and Oda expects you to, depending on your age, you know?
Really casts a weird mood on all of the casual sexual harassment and stuff that's been throughout this entire thing.
Yeah.
This entire arc.
You need context. Listen. Right.
That's...
Luffy says, I thought it was familiar, but it wasn't actually. Because I thought it was. Hold on. I thought it was the symbol that my friend Hachi happens to have on his forehead. You can see here. Not a great pic. Here, this is a better pic. You can see here that Hachi has on his forehead the symbol of a sun. Here's our octopus fisherman Hachi, the one that was shot in Sabondi. This is him during the Arlong Park arc when he was being the least bad of the group. But yeah, it's a sun symbol on his head. Arlong also had this same symbol on his chest, and the other fishman pirates that were with Arlong did as well. Okay. Basically, we get it explained that it's very similar. It's there for similar circumstances, but different reasons we probably won't get into today. But you know, Boa then, thanks to Gloriosa reading the paper, discovers that this is Monkey D. Luffy, the man who was recently trying to be arrested at Shibondi Archipelago after punching a celestial dragon. And they're like, okay, he's a good guy then. We like him. Because he punched out we don't like the celestial dragons. They're evil, you know? So Luffy punching them out. We like Luffy. And Bo was like, you know what? Do you want a ship to get back to Shibondi? I'll sort you out one. And Luffy's like, hell fucking yeah, let's go. Which is when he continues to have the old woman read the newspaper, and she says, yeah, Whitebeard's second in command, the 2nd Division Commander, Portgas D. Ace, is getting executed. And Luffy's like, what the fuck? You serious? My brother's getting executed? So that's the new priority. Now we have to fucking save Ace, because man's getting executed and Luffy didn't know. We need to figure out a plan. Right, where is Ace? He's in the prison of Impel Down. How are we getting there? You need to be allied with the Navy or the Marines or the world government. There is one person here who is allied. It happens to be Boa Hancock, the one of the warlords of the sea, the pirate empress herself. You know? Will she sneak Luffy into Impel Down? And she's like, yeah, sure. Why does she say yeah, sure? Oh, she's horny for Luffy, bro. She's horny for Luffy. When he dropped in the bath, she tried to use the Mero to stone him up, right? He didn't go stoned because he didn't feel any lust. And not only that, he punched the Celestial. He's God's gift, basically, Ryan. That's a real man. And she knows a real man when she sees it.
And again,
She gets so horny for Luffy that she...
How old is he at this point in the story?
17.
Okay.
17.
Yeah.
And she's like 29, but unimportant. No, she gets gets so horny for Luffy that she contracts love sickness, which has killed many people of her tribe in the past.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Amazonians only give birth to little girls, and you know, if they do seem to contract some sort of love sickness, or they might be at risk of doing that, they should leave the island to meet a man before abandoning that man and taking the little girl home. That is the way of their people. All right? It's like the Gerudo in Zelda, honestly.
Oh,
Yeah.
This arc's been exhausting.
Hey. We already just moved on from the mushroom pulling. God damn. We have a lot more to come. But anyway, yeah, we need to get into Impel Down, and Boa agrees to help, and that is the next task. Where are we putting the Amazon Lily arc? For me, I think it's better than Thriller Bark. I'm not sure how I'd say it compares against Skypiea.
Yeah, it's definitely worse than Skypiea.
Yeah.
But better than Thriller Bark, I think.
Yeah.
Just a couple of other notes there. We do get to, well, I mean, in the anime, I don't know if this is in the manga as well, but in the anime at least, we get to see where everybody else ended up as well, just at the end of this arc.
Mm-hmm.
Also, the reason that that Boa Hancock can go to like right to Impel Down, basically like the Marines were like, Whitebeard is probably not going to be too happy about this, so we'll call all of the 7 warlords, because they're quite strong, to come and basically just, you know, boat around near Impel Down in case, in case some shit starts going down. So then we have a bunch of strong warriors. It's also learned that one of the warlords refused to do it. He was asked and was like, "No, I'm not doing that."
Who's that? We will find out.
We will.
Yeah.
My favorite character in the entire series.
Yep.
But we haven't. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I think Amazon Lily is a really, really fun arc. I love all the comedy. Maybe I'll drop it down to like here. Maybe it's not necessarily better than your fave, but
it's like after you have like that really heavy ending to the prior arc, you need something that's a little bit lighthearted, but it is a bit of tonal whiplash.
Yeah.
Like to have that.
Yeah. But yeah, to catch up with the rest of the crew, let's try and run this down. Brooke got sent to a Longarm tribe. Or was it we got sent to a normal tribe and got kidnapped by Longarms?
Yeah, it's like a vaguely racist tribe.
Okay, so basically they're a cult guys trying to summon Satan, and Brooke gets sent there. He asks to see Panties, and they all show him. All right. Zorro is on the Muggy Island, the Muggy Kingdom, with a big abandoned castle and a whole bunch of monkeys that know how to use weapons. All right.
Also, Perona is there.
Yeah, Perona is there. She's there. Remember Perona from Thriller Bark, who also got sent away by Kuma? She's with Zorro now. She's hanging out. Yeah, very nice. Nami is on a sky island with a bunch of old wizard men that are weather scientists, which is good for a navigator to do. Yeah.
This is unrelated to the other Sky Islands.
Yes.
It's unrelated to Skypiea. It's just a separate Sky Island that happens to know a lot about the weather.
Yeah. I think they can like manufacture the wind to like push that island around the globe to wherever they need to visit.
Yeah.
Which is very fun. We have Robin. Robin has been sent to a bridge called Tequila Wharf. For a long time before, it's Tequila Wolf. It's Wharf. That makes more sense, honestly. But there's also it's a giant bridge. The bridge is like 100 meters tall. It is kilometers long. Kilometers. It's been taking so long to build that settlements have been built at the edge of the work point of the bridge over time and just kept getting pushed back, like to catch up with the bridge. It's been being built for like at least like 800 years since like the Void Century, and the people that work on it are essentially slaves.
Yeah, the construction started at the end of the Void Century, essentially.
Yeah, a giant bridge connecting something to something, we don't know what, but I'll tell you now that there are 3 more bridges just like it. Yeah. Okay. So Robin is there. But that's not great for her. That's not. It's cold where she is as well. I think it's North Blue. Where is the rest of the crew? Chopper is on an island with what I would say is like stereotypical big birds and also stereotypical cavemen people that try and eat him. But the stereotypical cavemen people end up actually having a massive library and incredible medical knowledge.
Oh.
Yeah. So
which is really convenient for a dude who wants to be a doctor.
Yeah.
I guess, yeah.
Yep. Usopp is on a set of islands which are actually like giant man-eating plants. They're like massive, and the forests on the island grow like incredible food. And when I say grow food, I mean like there's plants that like grow hot dogs and shit. I'm like Willy Wonka's chocolate factory, but with like hot dogs and milkshakes, and the plants are growing food. You know,
Also, there's a dude.
Yeah.
There's a weird superhero dude called
Heracles
who's there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He wears a big like beetle outfit. An atlas beetle. So and those islands like close up like a plant and like swallow anything that's like living on them, like a fly trap. You know. So Usopp's showing there he gets really, really fat before losing weight, but he gets really, really fat. There's a plot point. It's a plot point. And just like Almeida. Just like Almeida, he's really, really fat and then he gets really, really skinny again. He has like 6-pack. Where's the rest of the crew? Sanji is on Okama Island. He's with this. You know what? Let's skip it. I think that's everyone.
Okay, I think we can't skip it. So basically, this was Oda's transphobia era. Okama is like a really outdated, but like recently reclaimed, like in the past 5 years, term for trans women. So on Okama Island, Sanji's like, wow, I'm surrounded by beautiful women, but actually they're just men in dresses, and like that's the whole point, is that like it's his own personal hell where he has to like overcome his fears. It's gross and transphobic.
As Ollie has already indicated, these island segments were expanded in the anime, and as a result made it more transphobic.
Yeah, it was significantly I feel like that's the only way that could go if you're going to expand on that.
Yeah, it only got worse. Yeah. Which
the other one,
Oda, he sort of does right by the community eventually, sort of.
He does. He like not long after this, like he does introduce a kind of cool trans character.
Yeah.
And like later on, like the coolest, most powerful characters in the series are trans as well, which is sick. The only other person that is unaccounted for is Frankie. He just sort of wakes up and he sees like this cyborg dog walking around, and then he like follows it and he finds this like old laboratory with the name like Vegapunk written on the front of it, and he's like, what's that about?
We haven't mentioned Vegapunk, have we? We should.
No, because Vegapunk hasn't really come up.
Vegapunk did get mentioned. All right, we're gonna go back to post Enies Lobby arc. Kobe and Helmeppo briefly mentioned Vegapunk here, and Vegapunk here is mentioned as like the world's greatest scientist, and one of his most recent inventions in that arc was attaching the sea stone, the Kairoseki, to the bottom of ships. This allows Navy ships to travel between the calm belt. If do we have to return to the globe?
No, I remember.
So they can get across the white sections now. The Navy can just do that, you know?
Yeah. So he's an inventor of some sort who does stuff for the military.
Yeah. And also he may or may not be affiliated with our man Kuma. Bartholomew Kuma shows up. And then Bartholomew Kuma shows up. Right. That's right. Frankie's found Vegapunk's lab. And so they're all in locations that may or may not be beneficial to them. May not, especially in Robin's case, because honestly, why did he put it there? Okay.
Well, I mean,
we know, but yeah. Right. We're moving on to Impel Down. Luffy is snuck into Impel Down by crawling underneath Hancock's coat and just hugging her and touching her underneath there. Okay?
She almost dies of love sickness on the way.
She sneaks Luffy in to Impel Down, and Impel Down is an underwater prison. We haven't talked about the Gates of Justice yet. We'll talk about them at the end of the arc, I reckon. It's an underwater prison. It's basically like a giant tower, but of course, like the top level of the tower is the port, and then everything else just goes down. Each level of the prison is like based on like a circle of hell. It's like Dante's Inferno, you know.
Or like in Futurama.
Oh, like in
They go through the different levels of hell. It's exactly like that.
Yeah, there we go. And yeah,
I was just putting it in terms that Ryan would understand.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Surprising number of parallels to Futurama.
Yeah. It's because Futurama, like One Piece, takes a lot of stories from the real world or mythology, or you know.
Yeah.
And One Piece does that also. Okay. Ace is being held on level 6 of Impel Down. And that is at the bottom, in case you couldn't tell. We're at the top at the moment.
Also, just quickly, the reason that it's underwater is just because like it's a lot of the people who are kept there are devil fruit users, and they figure if they get out, they'll just be in the water anyway. So
They're fucked, yeah.
a relatively safe place to put them.
Yeah, you don't want to try and burrow your way out like Shawshank Redemption, because you might get fucked over by the ocean being held there. You know? And everyone's dead. You know? Right. So we've just got into Impel Down. Warden Magellan is a Logia devil fruit eater who's eaten like the poison fruit, and he's like, he can just turn into poison. He can manifest poison. He can like make waves of poison. He can turn into a giant poison hydra. Okay. There's a bunch of other quirky characters that work as guards and stuff, but most important in Impel Down is the prisoners. And the first prisoner we get introduced to is Buggy the Clown. Buggy the Clown from Orange Town. He's back. The one that tried to bring the sword down Luffy's neck in fucking, where is it? Logtown. Buggy the Clown is back. Buggy, we love Buggy the Clown. Everyone loves Buggy the Clown. He's back in town. He's there. He's there. He's just broken out of his cell because, you know, chop, 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 chop. We've talked about this. And he's flexing his way through Impel Down, trying to figure out a way to get out. Which is where he encounters Luffy. And when he encounters Luffy, he's like, what the fuck are you doing here? You got captured too? And he's like, no, I broke in. And he's like, why did you break in? I'm trying to break out. Why'd you break in? My brother's here. I gotta get my man out. You know? And Buggy's like, you can fucking do that by yourself. I am not helping you for shit. That is a stupid idea, going down to level 6. God damn. And then that's when he notices, have we still got the picture of the no, hold on. Let me get the link again. Right. Right, he's covered in bandages because he got mushrooms burnt off him here. But do you see here on his arm this treasure here?
Yeah.
Yeah, right. So he actually got given this armband by Nami at the end of the Thriller Bark arc. She didn't know what it was, but he was just like, oh, that's pretty cool. I like to take that. Now, Buggy, there's one thing about Buggy we haven't mentioned yet. It's because Rayleigh said it. Rayleigh said Shanks was one of the apprentices on our crew. The Gold Rogers crew, Shanks is one of the apprentices on that ship, the one that Luffy looks up to. And his like sworn brother, the man he grew up with on our ship all the years, is Buggy the Clown. So Buggy the Clown and Shanks, old crewmates, both on the King of the Pirates ship. They've been around legends, which doesn't really explain why Buggy's such a fucking loser now, you know? But because Buggy has been about a bit, he recognizes that treasure instantly. He's like, that is Captain John's treasure mark. That will take me to wherever Captain John hid his treasure after Captain John hid his treasure at the event that's going to be spoken about much, much later. Goblin, if you jump in the chat and tell me what's going on, I swear. I know, brother. I know what happened with Captain John and where he got his treasure from, okay? Right. He's got Captain John's treasure mark, and Buggy's like, if you give me that, what do you mean no? if Buggy's like, if you give me that, I will help you out. I'll show you how to get down to level 6. And Luffy's like, yeah, deal. He even tells him that it's Captain John's treasure mark, and Luffy's like, yeah, that's fine by me. You can take it as long as you help me go find Ace. And so Buggy kind of does. He doesn't want to, but he kind of keeps getting dragged down to level 2, then level 3, then level 4. But along the way, we meet Mr. Free. Remember Mr. Free? The wax guy?
Oh, the wax guy.
The wax guy. He waxed up the giants in Little Garden. He got in a wax ball in Alabasta to survive being eaten by a crocodile. He is here in Impel Down. When they say One Piece doesn't forget anyone, this is it. They're all here in Impel Down. Don't worry, Goblin, I was getting there, because we wouldn't be complete without Mr. 2. Bon Cray. That's right, the shapeshifter, the one that touched all their faces, so to paint the X. He's here in Impel Down too. But if you remember, when we said goodbye to Bon Cray was like, Luffy, you really are my friend. I'm going to help you get out away from Alabasta and get away from all the Marines. And when Bon Cray and Luffy see each other, they're like, bestie, it's you. Side note, we mentioned before that Bon Cray isn't like non-binary, therefore has both the Mr. and the holiday titles from Baroque Works. This ties into our recent Okama discoveries where Sanji is. And Bon Cray is like, if anyone can help right now, get your brother out of here, get all this sorted, it's Emporio Ivankov. Emporio Ivankov, the king of Okamas, the king of the gays. They are somewhere in Impel Down, and they would help you for sure. All right?
I'm just prepping an image to send to Ryan about what this character looks like.
You throw me the link in the chat. I'll pull it up on the stream.
Yep.
Okay. So we're gonna find the king of queers, and that's gonna sort all of this shit out. Don't you worry about it, Ryan. Okay? Things go badly, especially when the team come up against Warden Magellan. As we mentioned before, he's made of poison, and touching a person made of poison is gonna make you poisoned.
That is how that works.
Yeah, and as rubbery and fun and as Luffy is, he's not poison resistant yet. So that's pretty bad. He gets the absolute shit kicked out of him. Bon Cray runs away at this point, but when they comes back, he's like, I'm not gonna leave this man alone again. I'm gonna get this man to the miracle worker of Impel Down, the king of queers. They will save my man Luffy. Right? And what do you think happens next, Ryan?
I don't know.
In the ice level, there's an ice level to the hell, you know. In the ice level of hell, Bon Cray fights off wolves coming in, hungry wolves, kicks the shit out of them, and then Luffy stands up, protects Bon Cray from the wolves with his Conqueror's Haki, and that causes Inazuma to appear. Inazuma is a person who's like half white and half yellow, has a really cool design, always drinking wine.
I like that you expected me to guess that.
Yeah. We will discuss Inazuma. The main thing of Inazuma is they have a devil fruit, which allows them to have big scissors come out, and they can cut through almost anything. Just like concrete, steel, slice that right up, you know? And also Inazuma, whenever we see Inazuma, there is like a 50-50 chance whether Inazuma will be a woman or a man. Okay?
Okay, alright, fine.
Inazuma finds Bon Cray and Luffy knocked out from all the dealings that they've gone through in Impel Down. And Inazuma says, we can help them. It's alright. When Bon Cray wakes up, he leaves the cave that he's found himself in, and there's like a stage show happening. There's a stage show, there's lights, there's drinking, there's partying, people are getting pissed up and shouting and screaming, and Bon Cray's looking around like, what the fuck is happening here? Let me double check what the link is, so I know the right time to put it up. Yeah. Perfect.
I can just I have the image of the
perfect. The moment
of the actual
big club, a party is happening. And who do we meet in this club? We meet the king of queers. Let's see this one. Hold up. We meet the king of queers. That's a good one. Emporio Ivankov. Right. Any questions, Ryan?
I think that's all self-explanatory, really.
Yeah.
What would you even explain?
Yeah. I mean, it's a Rocky Horror Picture Show reference.
I never would have guessed.
Yeah. Just for you, I'm letting you know that, Ryan, just in case you weren't aware. Okay. Emporio Ivankov, the king of queers, has a devil fruit, Ryan. It is the hormone fruit.
Of course it is.
She can have needles appear from her fingertips, blast you with them, give you the old finger blast, and boom! In 5 minutes, you will be a beautiful woman.
Or the other way around, you know,
Or the other way around,
whatever.
Yeah.
Go whatever way you want. You can even go halfway between. No matter
Oh, well.
however you want to present.
Yeah.
That's pretty great, to be
Ivankov
honest.
can do it for you.
Yeah, 5 minutes. 5 minutes, big tits, or the reverse, whatever you want.
Nice.
Yeah, absolutely incredible. In fact, we see a man invade the party as it's happening, and he's like, "You turned my father into my mother. How could you?" And Ivankov's like, "You are mad that we liberated one of your family members. Maybe you'll feel differently after you spend some time as a woman." And then grows tits and runs off embarrassed.
It's very good. It's very funny.
Now this is the kind of sexual harassment I can get behind.
Yeah. You see, I said that One Piece had force feminine in it. People didn't believe me, right?
I sent another link.
Yeah,
that,
I was going to
that
ask
shows-
for it. I was going to ask for it because it's equally important. Because Ivankov can, of course, change his own appearance. and
Yes.
gender, right?
Very good.
Whatever they want. Okay. Any questions at this point?
No, I'm good. I'm on board.
That's right. Okay. The King of Queers is here, and Boncray is like, "This is the miracle worker. I have just witnessed a goddamn miracle. Please, Ivankov, can you help my friend Mugiwara Luffy? He has already been helped. He is already locked away in a room where the hormones are rapidly changing his body, not into a woman, but he's having his body reformed by a series of powerful hormones to make him basically resistant to poison. This is the sort of thing that should take a week to complete, unlike sex change, which happens instantly. All right? This should take
to be clear, the reason that the sex change happens frequently is because that's specifically what Ivankov trained doing. Like, it was the only thing that they really gave a shit about using their powers for. So they got really, really good at creating those hormones.
Right.
And
So
they
it's
do
like-
a whole bunch of other stuff, but you know.
So it's like generally their power is just like body modification, essentially, but they really hyper specialize.
at the hormonal body, it's like,
Yeah,
it's biological. At the biological level, you're changing shit, just twisting shit, adding shit, taking shit away, whatever you want. So Luffy's already going through like a poison resistance training, and Boncray just spends all night outside his door as he's screaming in pain from the process. It's just like tearing his body apart and reforming it on the fly, And Boncray just screams, "Good luck, Gambare. You can do it." To the door for the entire time he's screaming, and then finally Luffy stops screaming and demands food. They feed him 2 weeks worth of food for the entire building, and then he's all good again. He's ready to go, other than being exhausted. This is where Luffy impresses Ivankov, thanks to being just so strong and incredible, and like, you've already recovered, you're already ready to go. God damn, even if you're exhausted, this is impressive. But then Ivankov reveals, "I'm down here until I get a message from my leader, Monkey D. Dragon. When I get that message, I'll be out of here and we will turn the world upside down." And Luffy's like, "Oh, my dad?" And he's like, "Yes, your dad. Once I get the message from your dad, I'm out of here." And he's like, "Wait, your dad? What the fuck?" When Luffy says That's my dad. I'm here to save my brother Ace. Ivankov's like, shit. Everything must be going down out there. I didn't even know. This must be the message from Dragon. This is the time where we get out of here. Fucking, let's go, guys. We're gonna get Ace. We're gonna get out of Impel Down. So the whole crew's ready to go, and Luffy just has an army of cross-dressers at his beck and call. Okay? Any questions so far?
No.
Fantastic.
I also just want to point out that Ivankov has the ability to wink and just like blow a hole in someone's chest.
Yeah. At least
Because of the lashes that they use.
Yeah, the heavy amount of makeup and lashes. There is at least one point where they jokingly say their face is getting burnt off, but then they take off a layer of makeup and they're fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's great.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's so heavy and like so incredibly dense that when they wink, it just like causes such a massive shockwave that just like blows a hole through somebody's chest. Like it's incredible.
Yeah, fantastic. Okay. We're heading all the way down to level 6. We get down to level 6. Ace has already been moved. Ace has been moved to Marineford, which is the Navy HQ where they are going to execute him. Shit, we are too late. Not only that, the wardens are of course aware, and they have sealed the fucking elevator to escape. This is bad. How are we going to get out of here? Brian, do people normally show up to save the day?
That's in my experience. That's what's happened so far.
Brian, this is prison. This is level 6.
It's a prison full of a lot of powerful and convenient characters, from what I've understood.
That's right. But how convenient is it when one of those characters is one of the cunts that Luffy's responsible for locking up? Out of the shadows, we hear "Free me, and I will get us out of here." And out stands a man with a goddamn big hook hand. It's motherfucking Crocodile, straight from Alabasta, the one that took the reign and fucking tried to cause a civil war to take control of the country. He's here. He's been locked up, and he's like, I will dehydrate the ceiling so it literally turns to dust and melts away. You have to let me out, though. Oh my god, what a reveal it is to have Crocodile back in the story for so long and actually be relevant, because in so many manga and anime, villains just disappear, or they can't feasibly be let out. Even in Bleach, they're like, we can't let Aizen out, he's just there. But no, here they're like, yeah, let's let Crocodile run fucking free, and it's sick. Ivankov does, however, say, don't worry, we can trust Crocodile, because I know one of the secrets from his past. And Crocodile's like, you better not fucking say anything. And Ivankov's like, you just best not piss me off, is all I'm saying. Was Crocodile previously a woman? Maybe. just maybe. I don't know.
You can very much buy a figure to that effect.
Yeah.
An officially made figure to that effect.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
who can say, really?
Who can say? Who can say? But that's a fun one. And while they're down there on level 6, we get one more guy. Another warlord of the sea. But one we haven't met yet. One that has been mentioned. Way back before the Arlong Park arc. We have Martin Luther Jinbei. The first son of the sea. He's tattooed on my arm here. He's got that sun icon from Hachi's head as well. You can see. Martin Luther Jinbei, first son of the sea. He's not really called Martin Luther, but that kind of gives you the idea of what role he takes up in the series. He is a fishman, but he is great friends with Whitebeard, good friends with Ace, and he may or may not be the reason that Arlong was set loose on the East Blue. Because it's shades of grey in this series. No one's good or evil, you know? It's shades of grey. Jinbei is
I feel like we've met many characters who are very much not shades of grey in either direction.
Yeah, but some of them have to be evil. Some of them have to be evil. But some of them, there are shades of grey, but we're all getting to the point, you know? It's like... taking over Alabasta wasn't Crocodile's first idea. It's not what he wanted to do first. It's what he fell into after getting obliterated by Whitebeard, you know? A lot of the
Yeah, I
characters have
guess.
stories like that. Okay. We've got 2 Warlords of the Sea on our side now. An army of Okama, the King of Queers, Bancray. Let's get the fuck out of here.
Jinbei was the person, the warlord, by the way, that refused to do it and then got locked up for it.
Yeah, he refused. He refused to join Marineford because he, like I said, he likes Whitebeard. He likes Ace. He won't help with that war.
I'll be back in just a sec because you've still got like another 15 minutes of explaining this arc.
Yeah. Well, we're gonna speed up because basically now we're on the way up because we're at the bottom. We're on level 6. We're on the way up.
I'll be back nonetheless.
Yeah, we're gonna blast through each of the floors. Our main threats at this point are Magellan again because he's made of poison. Luffy is poison resistant now, but that's gonna fuck up everyone else still. And there is one more of the 7 Warlords of the Sea that didn't show up to Marineford, actually. And it's not Crocodile. It's Blackbeard.
Oh.
While Luffy and his new gang are fighting his way out of Impel Down, Blackbeard works his way in. The entire time, Blackbeard wanted to become one of the 7 Warlords, but invading Impel Down on his free time would almost definitely have that title taken off of him. He needs a reason to be here, so why is he here? Of course, he wouldn't have even got this far if it weren't for his title, so why would he risk it now? He is heading down to level 6 after Jinbei, Crocodile, and Ace have been taken out. He's heading down to level 6, and he passes Luffy on the way. And that's where Luffy realizes, wait, this guy's Blackbeard? That's the guy I met before. He's the one that's fucked up Ace? Luffy punches the shit out of him. Blackbeard takes the hit. It hurts bad. He's screaming in pain. But this is where Blackbeard uses his ability. He grabs Luffy, he goes, Kurozu! And he opens a black hole in the palm of his hand. Draws Luffy in, and then just like smacks him down. Blackbeard's ability is accessing this darkness, this abyss. This abyss has like gravity style powers. We can drag things in. But more importantly, one of the things it drags in is devil fruit abilities. When he's touching you, you can't use a fruit ability anymore, making him one of the more fearsome pirates on the sea now. For context, what Blackbeard did wrong to have Ace hunt him was that he killed a member of Whitebeard's crew, Thatch, one of his crewmates. And it was because Thatch found the fruit. And Whitebeard was on that ship for like 30 years, 40 years maybe. Just a good crew member, part of the team. Everyone loved him. And then one day, that fruit came into his eye and he instantly snapped, killed a man for it, and ran. So whatever it does is important, you know? Luffy's gonna get his ass kicked by Blackbeard because he's not ready for this smoke. But Jinbei stops him. He's like, if you waste your energy here, how the fuck are we gonna save Ace, who's like on an execution platform right fucking now in a different area entirely? We need to go. We need to get out of here. Eventually, Luffy agrees. They need to escape. They need to get to the top. They fight their way past Magellan, thanks to Mr. Free giving him wax boxing gloves, so he doesn't have to touch him directly. They fight their way past Magellan. Of course, they don't need to beat him, they just need to escape. And then Jinbei, being the first son of the sea, he calls a bunch of whale sharks, and they all just get on whale sharks and swim away. Yeah. And then Jinbei, he requisitions a marine ship. Right. They are out of Impel Down. How are they going to get through the Gates of Justice? Quick explanation. The Gates of Justice are giant gates in the ocean. These gates being opened and closed, they're so massive, it changes the currents and the tides of the sea. If a gate closes or opens, it has a whirlpool in the center of these 3 gates, and once one closes and opens, it controls the current. If they can't get through the Gates of Justice, they're basically stuck at Impel Down because of the way these things manipulate the currents. The gates begin to open as they sail towards them. How has this happened? Bancray. Bancray is still on Impel Down, still in the control room, and he's been using his powers to imitate the Warden to say, open the gate. On the phone, Luffy's like, "What the fuck have you done, Boncray? You're sacrificing yourself for me again." And they're crying, they're screaming. And he's like, "You get your brother back. All of you, get out of here and live your lives." And Boncray becomes the hero of Impel Down, sacrificing everything for the sake of Ivankov, the King of Queers, Jinbei, Luffy, Ace, Crocodile. He sacrifices everything so they can achieve their dreams. It's emotional, Ryan. God damn, it's emotional.
I'm glad you say that every time something emotional happens. Otherwise, I'd have no idea.
You'd have no idea. And it's emotional, so you got to be aware. Gosh. I don't know what else to say. We got into the whale sharks. Ollie and Boncray's stay behind. This is emotional as hell. We did it. I've already gone over. We encountered Blackbeard on the way up. Impel Down. I'm gonna put it at the top of a better than your fave tier. That's where it sits for me. I think the reintroductions of a lot of the villains of One Piece actually feels incredible. Like, it feels really, really cool. Seeing stuff like Crocodile come back, because especially in like other anime series, once they're gone usually. Here, this is a complete filled out world. So thank you very much, Tia. This is a complete and filled out world. So I feel the way it builds upon everything we've seen before and like continues to build upon it. The way new characters interact with old characters and give them more context, even just in the stuff like Crocodile perhaps being a woman at one point. The way that expands like the world and the possibilities of the world is crazy. And it's great to see it happen. I love Impel Down. Ollie, hit me.
Yeah, I think it's really good. I think as well, having this like rogues gallery of like former villains, all teaming up to like break out of prison. It's like it's a very action movie kind of like vibe, which I think is a really fun idea. But like it also like sort of sets the groundwork for like big things are happening, right? Like it's a the fact that all these people are being brought back and like these powerful new people are being brought back as well, or introduced. It's like a big damn holy shit, like the shit is ramping up. So
that's right.
Yeah, I think it's really good.
That's right. Incredible arc. Really, really cool. Ryan, how are you feeling so far? You good?
Yeah, it's a lot.
It's a lot. And the worst part is the next arc is probably the most. If that was a lot, the next one's the most. I wanted us to get further today, but we're gonna do this one and call it, okay?
We have to. There's not going to be more time.
We're gonna do one more and call it, because Marineford. All right, okay. Luffy.
The thing is, it's not a super long one, so it's
just a lot happens.
It's just a
We're gonna have to skip a lot of mini details because the mini details could keep us here all fucking day, Right. The crew from Impel Down. What we've got? Well, our newer crew. We're sailing towards Marineford. This is the Marine HQ. This is where Ace is set to be executed. So that's not good. But that's why we're going there to stop it all. Okay. Cool. We flash forward to Marineford, and Ace is on an execution platform very similar to Goldie Rogers. As Sengoku, the fleet admiral of the Marines, is stood next to him. They are doing a broadcast of the world across the world via those telepathic snails we heard of before. And this is where Sengoku announces how important this execution is. When Luffy says that Ace is his brother, he means they are like sworn brothers. This is like a Japanese concept, especially in the Yakuza. Where people like admit to being admitted to the Yakuza at the same time. They'll be friends, they'll be brothers, and it's like they are basically sworn brothers for life, Nishiki and Kiryu, Yakuza 0 and Yakuza 1, you know. That's what the kind of brothers they are. They are swarm brothers, not biological fraternal siblings. And that becomes important because Sengoku says, we searched for you, Portgas the Ace, for a very, very long time. When we found out that there was a chance a baby could be out there, we arrested every pregnant woman we could find. We executed many of them. We had Marines searching for weeks upon months upon years. And to evade us, your mother held you in her womb for like 18 months or some shit. How long was it again? Was it even like 20 months or some shit? It was crazy. It was like more than
That's
double.
not how biology works.
It's not. But she held it in out of love for her child. They called it a mother's miracle or whatever.
It was 20 months total.
20 months.
Fucking hell.
She held the baby in her womb because no one could know. No one could know that somewhere out there was a child with the blood of the king of the pirates. When Gold Roger left the ship, left Rayleigh and the rest of the crew, he went and got some pussy. He met a woman called Portgas de Rouge, gorgeous lady, fell in love, and conceived a child. The name should have been Gold the Ace, but to hide that identity, the name was Portgas de Ace. And the only person he told was Monkey D. Garp. The only man he trusted was his marine foe, the one he'd been fighting against for years. And he was like, you're the only one that can take care of my son. You will raise my child. That's what he said to him. They said to him, he's like, I'm going to raise your kid. And he's like, no, you will. You will. And he did. Monkey D. Garp hid that child from the Marines, wouldn't let anyone else know until the secret was finally out. Yeah, that's right. And this is why it's so important that Ace is executed. And that's when Whitebeard shows up. Whitebeard and his entire fleet show up. They're like, no. This boy ain't dying today. It's wartime. Whitebeard and the Marines basically just flex for a bit. They just posture and flex for a little while. But Whitebeard, we've seen him before. He's like, 15 foot, 16 foot tall. He is said to be the strongest man in the world and a man with the power to destroy the world. And that's because his power allows him to summon earthquakes. Of course, in Japan, earthquakes seen as incredibly destructive and dangerous for obvious reasons. But more than that, tsunamis are caused by earthquakes, and this is a world primarily made of water. This makes Whitebeard incredibly dangerous. He can destroy any island he wanted, pretty much. He only doesn't because he's a good lad. He's a good lad. When he shows up, Ace screams saying, I'm sorry, it's my fault, I left the ship, I said I would go after Blackbeard. And Whitebeard's like, I don't know what you're talking about. I told you to go. This is my responsibility. It's not true. He told him to stop. But when it comes down to it, Whitebeard will take the responsibility of his crew because he calls every crew member his son. Every one of them is his son. Even the women. We don't ask why. They're all his sons. Yeah, there are a couple of women on his crew like Whitey Bay. We don't see him say, "Yeah, you're my son too," but I'm assuming that's the implication there. Yeah. Everyone on his crew is his son, and he proves this when one of his crew members comes up to him called Squad. And Squad takes his sword out and launches the sword into Whitebeard's chest. Goes straight through him out the back and everything. And when asked why the fuck he did this, Squad got lied to by Navy Admiral Akainu. He said, Whitebeard brought you all here to sacrifice the extended fleet. As long as Ace and the main crew escape, Whitebeard is going to sacrifice the rest of the extended Grand Fleet of Whitebeard, of which Squad and many others are a part. Squad believed this, and Akainu said, if you stab through Whitebeard, we will free you and just take him. Squad believed all of this, all of these horrible lies, and as revenge for wounding the strongest man in the world, Whitebeard lifts his arm, slams it down, and hugs Squad. Just hugs him. Hugs him tight, hugs him close, and he says, my son, who has taken your proud and upstanding heart and turned it to darkness. Because they're all his sons, and he loves them all equally. And any mistake his sons make is a mistake on his character, not them. He didn't raise them right. If they did that shit wrong, he didn't raise them right. Because he's a real dad. Jesus fucking Christ. And it's about this time that a ship falls out of the goddamn sky. Again, for the second time in this series. A ship falls out of the goddamn sky. And who is it? It's Monkey D. Luffy, Crocodile, the King of Queers, etc., etc. Maybe not equally. Shut up, Tia. Equally. This is important. Don't say your favour. Say, shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up. This is why Squad stabbed him. Because you're lying. Can't be doing this. Right. Monkey D. Luffy and the rest of the crew fall out of the sky. How did they get up there? The boat got flicked up by a tsunami caused by the earthquake fruit. Okay? That makes sense.
Yeah, go on.
Yeah.
I like that the tsunami that caused it's nowhere to be seen. Though.
The tsunami did actually encroach, but who else do we have here? We have the Navy Admiral Aokiji, the Iceman, and he just froze that shit.
Oh, right.
There's like giant waves like facing the island, but they're frozen in place. Because he's that strong, you know? There's a back and forth happening here. We gotta skip over the details. Luffy and the crew fall out of the goddamn sky. First things first, Crocodile tries to kill Whitebeard. Because he's like, oh, there's the old man that beat me years ago. Luffy stops him. They have a standoff. Luffy's like, if you want to beef with the old man, you beef with him another day, not today. We got to do some shit today, you know? Luffy's taking charge. He's the boss. And when Whitebeard sees Luffy, he sees the straw hat, which of course once belonged to Red Hair Shanks. And he thinks back to seeing Shanks and Buggy on Roger's ship. And he says to Luffy, you know, what the fuck do you think you're doing here, you little brat? This is a war where the big men are. And Luffy's like, fuck you, bro. This isn't for you to decide. And Whitebeard can't believe anyone's ever spoke to him like that. He's like, what the fuck? Small child shouting at me. Whitebeard picks up his like big fucking, what's it called? It's like a spear, it's like a bicentennial or some shit. I don't know. Swings it about above his head and like crashes it down. And that unleashes like a small blast of Conqueror's Haki over the battlefield. There's one or two people in the crowd fall over, but Luffy doesn't falter, and he's like, "Oh, okay." He's got the meat to back up his words. And he's like, "All right, you saucy wee brat." Don't know why he called him saucy, but he did. "All right then, you saucy wee brat. Let's fucking go. Let's go to war." And Luffy's like, "You don't need to tell me twice. I was gonna do it anyway." And everyone can't believe it because this rookie pirate is like standing up to one of the four emperors, and apparently the four emperors like, yeah, that's cool. Actually, he's the one who cut Crocodile's hand. Is that right? Is Whitebeard the one who cut Crocodile's hand off? That's fun. I didn't know that. Thank you very much,
I assumed it was bitten off by a crocodile.
Yeah, I mean, no, that's Captain Hook.
So that's just when I see a pirate who's missing a hand. That's just my thought, you know.
Tick-tock goes the clock and all that. Oh, there was a bomb in the clock in Alabasta. You know what? Let's not think about it. Let's not think about it. Right. So we're at war. It's going down. Luffy and all that there's competing, and just the war happens. There are so many people in the war, it's hard to explain. Hawkeye Mihawk's there, the greatest swordsman on Earth. He's like fighting off against multiple people. His sword slashes just cleave the entire fucking battlefield in two. People go flying everywhere. And only Whitebeard's best swordsman, Flower Sword Vista, is able to stand up against him. We also have Diamond Jozu, a massive bloke who can turn into Diamond. And, you know, at the end of Alabasta, when Zoro cut Mr. One, Mr. One said, what are you going to do? Cut Diamond next? Then Diamond Jozu shows up, so everyone's like, right. We also have Marco, the 1st Division commander. Marco might be the coolest because he has a mythical zone devil fruit. He can turn into a blue phoenix. He can use the flames of the phoenix to regenerate himself, and he does look a lot like Moltres, except blue. Yeah.
He's also a doctor because he has the phoenix powers, so he can just
He can heal
anyone.
other people as well, yeah, instead of himself. But healing people with the phoenix powers uses like their life energy to a degree, so it's like you don't want to overdo it. Anyway, yeah, very very cool shit. The whole Whitebeard crew is just like they're monsters, and that's why he's one of the 4 emperors. You know.
Mm-hmm.
War happens, and then we'll skip forward a bit. Oz is here. Remember the ancient giant from Thriller Bark?
Yep.
Apparently he had a son. Oz Jr. is here, and he's not a zombie. He's just a member of the Whitebeard crew. He walks up from the back out of the ocean and starts saying, "Don't worry, I'm going to deal with this." He doesn't deal with it. He gets his foot cut off so fast. His foot is cut off by Don Quixote Doflamingo so fast. And he is like crawling across the battlefield while bleeding out across the place. Yeah.
Also, yeah, Doflamingo is there for reasons.
He's also one of the 7 warlords of the sea. We did mention that before.
Yeah.
But he's mainly there to take the piss out of things. An interesting one about Doflamingo, probably mention it now. He has string abilities. Strings are his thing. He can like create super sharp strings. He can hang strings from clouds to glide between them. He can do all sorts, and so he can just instantly cut off Oz's whole ass leg. He also at one point cuts off Crocodile's head, which is fun. Of course, Crocodile's made of sand, so it just comes back. But yeah, just to make a point, you know. So I could really do this to you if you wanted. I could really do it. Right. The war continues. Everyone's fighting. The war is just happening on every angle. Luffy's getting slapped about quite a lot. He gets at least 2 hormone adrenaline injections from Ivankov because shit's going down. It's getting crazy. You know, Kizaru, the man made of light, is there. Aokiji, the man made of ice, is there. And on top of that, they got Akainu, who is a man made of lava and magma, and he's there. So that's not good for anyone. Okay. They're all causing problems. Everyone's going to war. Everyone's fighting. I don't even know where to skip forward to because it's so much shit's going on. But basically, you know, Ace is in the center, right at the back, and they need to head towards him to free him. Chaos ensues, and also Buggy becomes kind of a celebrity among the other prisoner escapees. The other prison escapees see Buggy now as like almost like a legendary pirate, because now they know he was actually on Roger's crew, and they know that Whitebeard actually recognizes him, and so they're all like, "Oh, actually, Buggy's a big man." You know, so Buggy, because he now has a large crew, actually is a big man, just by virtue of acting like he got guys to follow him. Very nice. Everyone's there. Boa Hancock's there as well, and for obvious reasons, she is like helping Luffy, but she doesn't like men, so she's okay attacking everyone. Yeah, fan letter is incredible. It's one of the best animes of that here. Yeah, so a lot of war is happening. We're gonna have to like skip way forward because it's a mess. But we will say Kobe.
Basically, everyone we've mentioned is
the only other...
there except the rest of the Straw Hat crew.
Yeah. I think the only other important one to mention is Kobe and Helmeppo. We mentioned Kobe from literally right at the beginning, the slave boy from Alvida's ship. And then Helmeppo, Captain Morgan's son. We said they came back at post Enies Lobby arc. They are there as well. They joined the Marines. They've been training under Marine Vice Admiral Garp. And Kobe, you know, he still wants to be a brave Marine. He does try and fight Luffy at one point. Luffy doesn't even realize it's him and just punches him in the face. Just punches him and just keeps running. Doesn't even know. This is actually like a moment of awakening for Kobe. And this kind of makes me wish I'd mentioned Isa in Skypiea, but I never did because there was just too much going on in Skypiea. But eventually Kobe starts hearing voices from a distance. It's like he can hear when people are there in the battlefield and when they disappear or die. It's almost like he feels their presence, shall we say. Okay? All right. You good with that?
Yeah.
We're going to have to skip all the way fucking forward. Everything's gone down. People are getting injured, getting banged. Marco at one point gets some sea stone cuffs thrown onto him so he can't just go Phoenix mode whenever the fuck he wants. Whitebeard gets like dozens of cannonballs to the chest, gunshots, sword wounds. At one point he has multiple people stabbing him and they're all like hanging onto him as he's warring with others. Because, you know, like I said, he's like 15 feet tall or whatever the fuck. Just a massive guy. And then Jinbei helps Luffy out. Goblin, I'm skipping forward real fast. Jinbei helps Luffy out by using the ocean current shoulder throw technique to launch Luffy in like a current of water above this wall dividing the battlefield, over it, and directly in front of the three admirals, and just behind them is, of course, Ace on the execution platform. Luffy throws a giant wooden mast he's taken with him at them, just like from one that's been broken off a ship. And the Iceman ices it up. Luffy uses that opportunity to use Stamp Gatling. God, but there's so much we haven't explained to Ryan. He basically hits his feet out really fast, kicks really fast, and it smashes the mast apart while flinging all this ice at the admirals. Luffy actually uses this as a distraction to approach the execution platform and get shit done. Doesn't work out particularly well, though. Finally, a little bit later, we do get Inazuma. Remember, scissor hands. Sometimes man, sometimes woman. Sliced up a slice of concrete and flipped it up, and that made a perfect bridge up to the execution platform. Finally, for Luffy to get up there while all the admirals, etc., are distracted by the war. This is where Garp slams down. Garp is like, I am your grandfather, but I am a Marine Vice Admiral. I will not let you go any further. And Luffy's like, please, Gramps, come on. We need to, come on. And he's like, no, I'm not gonna stop. I'm gonna stop you right here. And Luffy has to go gear second. He's winding up a punch. And as Garp is like ready to punch Luffy back, again, hero of the Marines, one of the strongest people in the verse. As Garp wants to punch Luffy back, he can just see Ace and Luffy as children in his head. And as he's about to let loose that fist, he just closes his eyes and takes Luffy's instead. And even Sengoku looks down. He's like, you chose your family after all. Luffy gets to the top of the execution platform. The two executors... Yeah, the two executors, they've been knocked out by Conqueror's Haki long ago. We're skipping details.
Executioner.
Executioners? Yeah, sure. They've been knocked out by Conqueror's Haki a while ago. Sengoku's up there, though, and this is where Sengoku reveals that he is the Golden Buddha. He turns into a giant Golden Buddha, and he just uses like a crazy impact technique. About to punch in Luffy, but then one of the executioners wake up. Who is it? Is Mr. Free. Where have you been, Mr. Free? I snuck into the execution place a while ago. I put on one of their outfits. I'm here now. Mr. Free's here, which is a good thing too, because we just broke the key that we needed for Ace's cuffs, which we got off Boa Hancock. You see, had to skip through the details. It's a lot going on. You got the key off Boa Hancock. Had to undo the cuffs. The key gets broken by Kizaru with a light beam. And that's when Mr. Free wakes up, and of course he can wax up a new key. Just before that, giant Buddha Sengoku punch coming in. Luffy turns into a balloon to displace the punch. Waxy Mr. Free makes a little wax dome to shield himself and Ace. And Mr. Free at that point reveals that he was doing it all. He was doing it all because he saw Bon Clay, Mr. 2, go down. And he was like... My comrade in arms sacrificed himself for this. I don't want his sacrifice to be in vain. He's like, Luffy, will you laugh at me if I say I'm here for the sake of my fallen comrade? And Luffy's like, never! I'll never laugh! They make the key, put it in the cuffs, boom! Out of nowhere, a big Whitebeard logo made of flames, thanks to Ace's flame fruit, of course. His flames have been freed. He's out. He's stood next to Luffy. He's like, you've always been such a fucking crappy brother. You never listen to me. You always do crazy things. And now here you are, saving my ass. You're so much trouble. But they're free. Ace is freed. It's all... Ryan, he's freed. The multiple arcs of build-up here. He's freed. Okay? And Whitebeard says, run. Get to the New World. And he creates an earthquake to divide the Marines and him on one side and all the pirates on the other side. He's like, all of you escape now. Get to the New World. That there is no ship that can carry me into the new era. I will die here, ensuring that everyone survives. As they're running, arsehole Akainu, Magma Man, says, that old coward Whitebeard. Just letting death happen. Terrible. And Ace hears it, and Ace is like, you fucking take that back. This is the wrong time to be like, you take that back. You literally just got out of handcuffs, you were going to get executed, and now you're like, you take that back. No! Leave! But Ace, you take that back, he says. And he goes over and he demands that he takes it back. Fuck. The thing is, the one thing that's hotter than flame is apparently magma. Because from what I understand, you can like hold a lighter up and like, you know, you can do that with your fingers. Apparently you can't put your fingers through magma like that. No. Apparently you can't. So Ace gets burned. Despite being made of flame, Ace gets burned. And Akainu stands over him and he's like, you fucking watch what I'm about to do now. And he points at Luffy. And he riffs the fist. And he jumps for Luffy. And Ace jumps in the way. And his fist goes straight through him. Like, straight through him. Leaves like a big circular hole. Like, cauterizes the nerve endings and shit on the way out. Ace is the deadest man we ever see. He falls into Luffy's arms. And he just asks Luffy to tell everyone fighting, thank you for loving me. Thank you for going through all this for my sake. For proving that it was worth me being alive. Thank you for making me feel like I was right to live. Even carrying the blood of the world's most hated criminal. Thank you. And then he's fucking dead. Luffy at this point basically goes comatose. He's out. Like, he's been pumped full of hormones for several days in a row now. Just to stay awake, just to stay active. And everything's crumbled in front of him. His only brother is dead. And Luffy's unconscious. Jinbei jumps in to save Luffy from Akainu, wiping out everyone. And now it is like the most fraught escape sequence. Jinbei's running, swimming, climbing away. Akainu blasts a hole straight fucking through Jinbei's chest. And the flames even scar Luffy's chest as he's being held on the other side. It looks like, again... Jinbei's
fine though. Jinbei's like, he just brushes it off.
It's surprising that he's fine, but he is fine. Yeah. After a while. I remember Jinbei's on the ice, basically like snarling like a fishman beast, like the racist caricatures the Celestials trying to create of him. And then fucking out of nowhere, MVP of the arc, Sir Crocodile, slices Akainu in half with sand blades out of nowhere, and then creates a sandstorm which whisks Jinbei and Luffy off. And he says, you gotta protect the ones you want to protect. Don't let them taste victory. Because he don't like the Marines. He didn't like Luffy, but he don't like the Marines even more. The rest of the Whitebeard pirates that are still alive at this point all stand up. And they're like, you see that boy as a threat. And that means we need to protect him. Because if you think he's a threat, that means he's going to be good for us. Especially after everything Whitebeard said. After everything Ace said. Of all people to catch Jinbei, it's Buggy. Buggy's in the sky. His feet are on the floor, of course. We've mentioned this before. He can float in a radius. Buggy's in the sky. He catches Jinbei and Luffy, and because magma fists are being thrown at him, Buggy's like, "I'm out of here." Actually, very good timing because a yellow submarine appears. That yellow submarine, piloted by one Trafalgar Law, back from Shibondi Archipelago, one of the rookies. He says, "Put Straw Hat on my ship. I am a doctor." He should have mentioned that before. He's here. He's protecting the ship, but the war is still going. Akainu's going crazy. People are warring.
My internet might cut out just very briefly.
That's okay. I feel like we're getting to the end now. It's going crazy, Ryan. The pirates are fighting. The war is happening. He had to stay silent and not turn to flames to say Luffy. You tell him. The war is happening, Ryan. It's emotional. It's crazy. It's crazy, Ryan. It's emotional. I don't know if you knew that.
I'm glad you told me, otherwise I wouldn't have thought.
Right. I mean, I'm getting emotional. I don't know if you are, but... Right. Luffy's on the submarine, and there's one person that has been listening to voices disappear this whole time, and it's Kobe. I mentioned earlier, you can hear voices disappear as people die in the battle. And he doesn't care if it's pirate or marine. He just doesn't want people to die anymore.
Doesn't want people to death.
You don't want people to death. You don't want people to die anymore.
He doesn't want them to get snuck.
No, let's get snuck. Shut the fuck up. Snuck by the snake. Fuck you know. He doesn't want people to die anymore, so he throws himself in front of Akainu and demands it stop. He says, "We are killing people. We are sending people to their deaths. Any soldiers that die from this point on are being made to look like fools because we've already won, but we're throwing lives away anyway." You know? Ace is executed. Whitebeard's also... Yeah, Whitebeard's not in a good state, I'll tell you that much. Ace is executed. Whitebeard's in a good state. Shit, I did actually forget one point because I was trying to just get to the end so fast. Blackbeard shows up.
Yeah, Blackbeard does show up.
Blackbeard shows up just after Ace is dead. And he has got a full crew of geezers from level 6. He went to each cell in level 6, each cell filled with criminals. And he said, "Whoever survives in this cell can join my crew. Now fight it out." You know? And he took the survivor from each cell and just fucked off. Turned up to Marineford, so showed up at in front of Whitebeard, and he's like, "I'm so glad I get to see you before you die, old man." We mentioned already that Blackbeard has a horrific devil fruit, and when Newgate tries to come down on him, Blackbeard's able to use his black hole Kurozu to just take any power out of those blows, you know? He can't do anything to him. The earthquakes aren't doing anything. The sheer strength of a 13-foot man isn't doing anything. It's all too much, Ryan. Okay? And just as Whitebeard is about to execute like a big attack on Blackbeard as punishment for all the pain that he's caused, that's when it just gets to him. All the cannonballs, all the blows. At one point, he did get pumped full of magma by Akainu. That sounded gay. You know what I'm trying to say. He got pumped. Everything that Whitebeard's been through caught up with him. Earlier, fucking my friend messaged me describing eating caviar, and he was like, it was so strange having like these warm eggs that burst in your mouth. And I was like, he was like, "It's so salty." I was like, "Bro, this is like the gayest thing you've ever messaged me." Anyway,
Incredible.
Anyway, fucking. Where was I? Blackbeard shows up. Everything builds upon Whitebeard. His damage just gets too much for him. And and he just freezes while trying to execute a last attack. Blackbeard then has all of his crew members come in, gunshots, swords, bum, 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 all of them just doing everything they can to take Whitebeard's life. And when they run out of ammo, Whitebeard's still standing there, and he just says, "It's not you, Teach." His name's Teach. It's not you, Teach. You're not the one Roger is waiting for. And then he goes on a big speech about how someone will come with decades, if not centuries, of history on their backs to throw down the gauntlet and challenge the whole world to a war. And Sengoku and the others in the government fear that it's going to happen. But it will happen. And with the live broadcasts still going, Whitebeard shouts his final words and he says, "The One Piece is real. It does exist." And that, once again, just as when Gold Roger died 20 years earlier, it reignites the great pirate era, sending men out to sea in search of their hopes and their dreams. Right? Jesus Christ. But it's not over. Because Blackbeard didn't just want to fucking kill Whitebeard. He wanted his fruit. They put a big cloak over him, over Whitebeard. Blackbeard goes inside for a few minutes. And when he comes out, in one hand he is wielding the black hole Kurozu devil fruit power. And in the other hand he wields the earthquake ability. He is the first man in the history of the series, or in the history of the series, and like in universe. He's the first man to ever use two devil fruit abilities at once. Because apparently, when you eat two, the devils will inside you fight it out and kill you from the inside. The devils in the fruits.
Yeah.
First man to ever have two fruit powers at once. How he took it, how he's using it, not entirely clear. All we know is that he needed pitch darkness to do it.
Yeah, and Marco the Phoenix is like, yeah, he has like a real weird body.
Yeah.
That's all we know, really.
The constitution of his body is unusual.
Yeah.
Later on, it is said that he doesn't sleep. That led to a lot of theories, which I actually think we were wrong about. Anyway, he now has both devil fruit powers. He is swinging them about at the Marines just to flex on them. The Whitebeards all hate the fuck out of him. He's flexing on them too. He's like, "I'm the most powerful pirate now. Forget about being one of the 7 warlords. I can be one of the emperors, if not the fucking pirate king." You know? And then, yeah, as I said, Kobe finally flings himself in front of Akainu, begging the war to stop, saying every soldier that dies from this point forward is a fool because they shouldn't have died. It should have been over. And Akainu says, "You are not a soldier that is displaying true justice, unwavering justice." And just like he did with Ace, he readies his fist to bring it down on Kobe, to kill him with the magmas. And it gets stopped by a sword. And when we zoom out, we see that this swordsman is Red Hair Shanks. The one Luffy looks up to, the pirate that gave him the straw hat. Red Hair Shanks, one of the 4 emperors, just rocked up to the battle. And for the first time, Akainu looks scared. Shanks just says, "Good job, young Marine. The precious moments you have created just now have dramatically changed the world. Whether for the better or the worse, who knows?" And as he says that, we see Luffy being evacuated. We see some of the Whitebeards getting away. Shanks is a man with 3 scars over one eye. And Blackbeard was the one that did it to him many, many years ago. So when he sees Teach, he's like, "Do you want to still go? In fact, if anyone wants to still go, we're right here." Pulls up with his full crew, yes, including Usopp, Usopp's dad, Yasop. But I think one of the coolest parts of this is when we see Shanks' second in command, Ben Beckman.
He's so fucking
He's
cool.
so cool. Ben Beckman shows up on like sitting on like the mast of the ship, and Ryan, he points a gun at Kizaru, the Admiral made of light. He points a gun at him, and he says, "You stop right there." And the man made of light, the man that we've seen several bullets fly straight through before, he puts his hands up. He don't do it because he's like, let's have a joke. He's like, oh, man's gonna shoot me. Why did he get scared of the gunshot from Ben Beckman? We have to go into that much, much later. For now, Shanks' crew shows up, allows Trafalgar Law to escape with Luffy and Jinbei, allows the rest of the Whitebeard pirates to exit, and he says to Sengoku, "I shall not let you disgrace the deaths of Ace and Whitebeard anymore. Give their bodies to me so we can have a proper funeral." And even though some Marines wanted to hang their bodies up as a shout of justice across the world, Sengoku, the fleet admiral, said, "Yep, because it's you, we allow it. Red hair Shanks." And Blackbeard, he's like, "Yeah, I probably shouldn't fight Shanks yet." And his crew all dips as well. Everyone dips, everyone leaves. It's emotional. Luffy is comatose, unconscious. Whitebeard's dead, Ace is dead, Blackbeard's one of the most powerful characters in the verse. It's the end of the Marineford arc. It's like a masterpiece. It's a masterpiece.
Yeah.
This arc, it just everything, all the world building nuggets that Oda's been dropping across the series to this point, he just pulls them all up at once. Everything just like, let's smack it all on the table and just hash it out.
Apart from like several of the main characters who are all fucked up across the world.
This is what makes it so interesting though, because Oda, for what, 300, 400 chapters, said here's this story about this main cast. And even when he gets rid of 80% of the cast, and then also gets rid of the main character, because all that shit was multiple chapters, multiple episodes after Luffy gets knocked out. Even when the main character's gone, he's built up such an incredible secondary cast that it just doesn't stop. It doesn't stop. And it's the same story whenever there's a flashback sequence, because most of the main cast won't even fucking be there, but it's like the most thrilling shit. Because usually it's just like he uses like these flashbacks embellish and build the world up from different perspectives. You get answers to things in flashbacks that you never knew you needed answers to and shit. This is what this a lot of people say this is the best One Piece arc. I don't know if I agree with that. But it is up there with Water 7 and Enies Lobby as one of the best for sure. Yeah. Fan letter reflects that. It does. Fan letter's great. I kind of just want to make Ryan watch fan letter, but I'm not sure he's gonna get it.
It's only like 25 minutes long. It's fine.
It is only 25 minutes long. It's beautiful, but we got to at least explain to him Return to Shibundi before that.
Yeah. The other thing that happens in this arc is that, like, just before Ace dies, he does name drop one other character, and that is Sabo. Sabo won't be making an appearance or really mentioned for a while. We'll learn about Sabo later.
Yeah. Also mentions
his impact.
Dadan. Also mentions Dadan. Which is
Dadan.
I love. We can't go into it too much, but I love the scene with Dadan and Garp before the time skip. It's one of the best scenes for me. It's so good. Marineford has incredible implications for the rest of the series, for many of the other nations. Of course, Luffy himself becomes like an infamous pirate because he was there at the War of the Best, they call it. He was there with some of the most powerful pirates in the world, and they were intimidated by him, you know? There is also a moment in Marineford where Luffy shows off his Conqueror's Haki. I didn't mention it. But
he wipes out like 600 dudes.
Yeah. Yeah. He's not conscious of it. He doesn't know it. But when the Marine admirals and fleet admirals see that he has Conqueror's Haki, they immediately go, that guy is going to be a problem. The Conqueror's spirit is going to be an issue. Also, Sengoku just keeps saying, Garp, it's your fucking family again. And it is always his family.
Also, like, Sengoku turns into like this big golden Buddha. He has like a proper like mythical zone.
Yeah.
And then like all he really does is like get big and punch stuff. Like you're kind of expecting some sort of like spiritual power from him, but no, he just turns into a big gold guy and just like punches
Just
a
has
bunch
like
of shit.
impacts or whatever. I did mention Vista and Diamond Jozu when I was introducing the Whitebeard crew. They are like the most important. I also shouted out Whitey Bay, so you know I've got my boxes ticked. Okay. Sorry, talking to Goblin Ford over there. Right. Ollie, is there anything else we're missing?
I don't think so. There's so much stuff that happens in this, but like none of it really matters all that much.
I really wanted.
Like there's
Go on.
The Pacifista all turn up.
Okay, yeah. All the robot Bartholomew Kumas turn up. I should have mentioned that. But loads of them, like an army of them. And then they're like, shit, that's the government's new human weapon. The grave site's also really beautiful. Yeah, the grave they do for Whitebeard and Ace is on like a mysterious island somewhere in the New World, and it is gorgeous. I really wanted to do post-war and Return to Shabondi today, but you know, we've been going for 3 hours now.
No, I'm not fucking sitting through more of this right now.
It feels like I've put Ryan through like the Avatar movies. I just made him deal with the Avatar movies. Yeah, Crocodile did also cut, like he stopped the execution once, but I didn't mention that because we were skipping through things. And honestly, so much happens in Marineford that I kind of get confused on the order. Obviously, I know I put things mostly in order, but not perfectly. I know that much.
Well, you know, tomorrow it's my turn. So,
yep. Bro, how the fuck do you can I wrap all this shit up in one day on Friday? Do you think?
We have next week as well. You probably can, I think.
We'd have to start
I just remembered
but...
Dressrosa. We would basically just need to start as soon as we log in on Friday.
Listen, I'm not going to go into the full backstories of every fucking Don Quixote family member, I'll tell you that much. And also, Punk Hazard will be pretty quick, I feel.
It will be, so will Zoe. Reverie kind of as well.
Yeah.
So it's just, Whole Cake Island, one of the longest arcs in the series history, and Wano, one of the, the longest arc in the series history.
Yeah. Easy. Wano is the only one that scares me. Wano is the only one where I'm like, shit, the memory, I'm not so good. All right.
Like, there's the main big bit, the raid. That's the bit that you really need to know. Everything else is just sort of set dressing for that, you know?
Yep. Okay, that's where we're at right now. I guess I'll hit the save button and download that image. There we go. I downloaded it. I downloaded a tier list. I don't want to create an account. Yep, that's where we stand after part 3. This, I've literally only been talking about this shit for like 7 hours.
And we're at the time skip, almost.
Fuck, okay.
Almost at the time skip.
In hindsight, I can't believe that you thought we might get there in the first session.
Yeah, me neither. I didn't know how much detail I was going to go into. I didn't know what was wrong with me. Right, that'll do. TSL, thank you very much for joining us once again. We can't do this without you. And Goblin Ford, if you're going to be here tomorrow, we're talking about wrestling. Right then. I'm gonna hit the stop streaming button. Bye, guys. See ya.